A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all-old-time radio.
Sound off for Chesterfield. Chesterfield, low in nicotine, highest in quality, best for you. Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to auto theft detail. You get a call from the owner of a used car lot. He tells you he thinks he bought a stolen car. Your job, check it out. Smokers by the thousands are now changing to Chesterfield, the only cigarette ever to give you 1, proof of low nicotine, highest quality. 2, this proven record with smokers. No adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfield. Chesterfield, regular or king size, low in nicotine, highest in quality, best for you.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Monday, May 4th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of auto theft detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Nelson. My name's Friday. I was on my way into the office, and it was 7:56 a.m. when I got to room 40. Auto theft.
That you, Joe?
Yeah.
Hi.
When'd you get in?
Well, about 7:30. I woke up at 5. I couldn't get back to sleep.
What's the matter?
Oh, I'm sore, Joe. I don't think I could lift a pencil to make out a report today.
Is that right? What happened?
Baseball.
Baseball?
Yeah. I tell you something, Joe. I found it out yesterday. Ain't no Chuck Stevens.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yesterday morning, I got up early. I'm going to do a little work in the garden. It was a beautiful day, you know. Felt real great.
Uh-huh.
I got out in the backyard. I'll take it easy, listen to the ball game, you know. Easy day.
Yeah.
And about 10, that guy next door, Neil Radcliffe, came over.
That's the fellow in the fire department, isn't it?
No, Joe, that's Bud Hendricks in the fire department. Neil works for an insurance company.
Yeah.
Well, Neil's company is going to sponsor a team in the Little League. You know, kids' baseball team.
Mm-hmm. I think I read something about that in the papers, didn't I?
Yeah, suppose you did. They're pretty good, too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Neil's got sort of a tryout yesterday, lined up for his team. Practice, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted me to umpire.
Do you know anything about being an umpire?
Well, Joe, sure I do. And besides, Neil figures since I'm a policeman, the kids will believe me. He had a little trouble with him himself last week.
I always thought you had to go to some sort of a school to be an umpire.
Well, Joe, you do for the regular leagues, but this was just a practice game. Neil's team and some kids in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So I told him, sure, I'd do it. I changed my clothes, went out to the park with him. You know, I thought it might be good public relations for the police department. You know what they tell us.
Being an umpire would be good public relations, huh?
Well, Joe, the bulletins say get out, get around the neighborhood, know your friends and their kids.
All right, go ahead.
Joe, those kids are on the wrong league.
What do you mean?
They're murderers.
How's that?
The way they play the game, baseball. I never saw such ball.
Is that a fact?
Yeah. I figured, you know, softball, underhands, kids pitching, be easy to call.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, it's regulation hardball. Just like that. Bases are a little closer, but it's just like the big leagues and the way those kids throw the ball. A couple of times there, I thought they were just kidding. I'd hear this thump, never see the ball. Thought the kid catcher would just hit in his hand, his glove, you know. And all of a sudden he'd turn around, and there'd it be right in his mitt.
Mm-hmm.
Golly.
Well, how'd you get so sore if you just umpired the game? You stood in one place, didn't you?
While I was up in the game, yeah, but this team of Neil's was skunking the other kids so bad that we had a little reorganization.
What do you mean, reorganization?
Well, they end of the second inning, the score was 14-2, and I thought that was a little unfair to the neighborhood kids.
Being the umpire, you certainly had the right to think it was unfair.
Well, I got out and I told him what I thought, so I decided to play first base for him.
You what?
I played first base for him.
With all those kids?
Sure. Fun. I played 5 straight innings.
That's what I was just going to ask you.
Yeah. Finally, I had to quit. Could hardly move. Didn't seem to make any difference where I was, Joe. Those kids weren't there. They just ran me ragged.
Yeah, well, maybe you better take it a little easy today, huh? Would you like the day off?
No, not the day off, Joe, but, I'll take it easy. Faye rubbed liniment on my back all night. All over my arms and legs. Man, I'm sore. It even hurt to get dressed this morning.
Mm-hmm. Well, what was the final score, anyway?
Well, at the end of the second inning, it was 14-2 in favor of the Little Saints.
You told me all that.
Neil's team.
14-2. You got in the game and played. What did it end up with?
I didn't even get one hit.
You didn't?
No. 3 times the bat, didn't even get a hit.
Yeah, well, that's too bad. What was the final score of the game? Did you hear me? The final score of the game?
Oh.
Not the original score, but after you played 5 innings, what was the score, the total? I was just curious to know.
Yeah. 46-12 when I left. That was at the end of the 7th. The Little Saints were up when I left.
That was the other team's favor.
Mm-hmm.
The team you weren't playing on.
Joe, don't rub it in. The other team had run through their batting lineup twice. The way they were going, I think they were going to have to call the game on account of darkness. They'd been up for over an hour. Only 1 out.
They sound pretty good.
Well, they may sound pretty good to you, but they're murderers. Joe, those kids grew up. There isn't going to be a ball club in the country that's going to have a chance against them. I never saw anything like it.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry I missed being here to see you play.
Yeah, I bet you are. It was pretty bad, Joe, really.
Well, you'd never know it.
Had me marked down for 10 errors when I left.
Only 10?
It wasn't 5 innings.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you got to be pretty bad to run up a score like that.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
I was, Joe, though. I was pretty bad.
Mm-hmm. I get it. Auto theft Friday. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Sure, we'll be right out. Want to give me that name again, please? Uh-huh, and that address. Fine. No, right away. Yes, sir. Friday. That's right. Right, bye.
What do you got?
Well, I don't think you're going to get much rest today. There's a used car dealer out on Washington Boulevard.
Yeah?
He thinks he bought a stolen car. 8:15 a.m. We left the office and we drove out to the McGowan Car Company. It was a large lot on Washington Boulevard. Along the front of the place, there was a line of late model cars, each advertised as today's special. We walked through the aisles of automobiles to the office in a trailer at the back of the lot. There was nobody around, so we knocked on the door and waited.
Well, he said he'd be here, didn't he?
Yeah, I told him we'd be right out.
Yeah, maybe he's gone out to breakfast.
Yeah?
Mr. McGowan?
That's right.
Police officer, sir. You called our office. My name's Friday.
Oh, yeah. Come on in.
Thank you.
Come on in the back. Just having a cup of coffee. Fix you guys up with one?
No, sir, not for me.
How about you?
Yes, sir. Sure, I'll have a cup with you.
Good. Go on back and sit down. I'll bring it right back.
Thank you.
Say, just get you fellas' names.
My name's Frank Smith. My partner, Sergeant Friday.
Oh, glad to meet you. I talked to you on the phone, didn't I, Mr. Friday?
Yes, sir, that's right.
Thought so. Never forget a name. Never do. There's your coffee.
Thanks.
I'm Jesse McGowan. Guys on the row are all the time kidding me about my first name. Jesse. Get it?
No, sir, I don't believe it is.
Jesse. Jesse James.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Well, anyway, I wanted to tell you about what this guy came in Saturday night.
Last Saturday?
Yeah, you see, we stay open till 10 on Saturday night. This guy must come in about 9. Jack went over to take care of him, but the fellow said he wanted to see the manager, so Jack brought him back here.
I see.
Said he had a car to sell, brand new Merc. Beautiful car. Say, I got a box of donuts here if you'd like one.
No, thanks.
I don't think I'll have one. Didn't get a chance to eat this morning. Got to worrying about this deal.
Mm-hmm.
Got some of these new kind with the cinnamon on top. Sure good. Well, I told this guy we'd like to buy the car, but we were kind of overstocked on Mercs.
Yeah?
He said he'd just come out from the east and bought the car when he got here. Said that right after he paid for it, he lost his job and had to get some money out of it.
Uh-huh.
I asked him if he'd like to make a trade, a transportation car and money to boot. Offered him a good deal on a Nash Rambler. Just got a couple of 51s in.
Yes, sir.
He said he wanted to sell the car outright. Said he was going to leave town. He wanted to get his money out of the car. I asked him how much he wanted for it.
Mm-hmm.
He told me he'd have to let it go for $2,200. It's about $800 under what he must have paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right away, I figured there was something wrong, so I had the mechanic look it over. Only had 3,200 miles on it. Hardly broke in. Beautiful. Radio, heater, white sidewalls, Continental hookup. Real beaut.
What'd your mechanic say about it?
Said it was in perfect shape. So I asked the guy who the legal owner was.
What'd he say?
He said he was. He'd paid cash for it, had the pink slip made out to him all right. He had the identification to go with it.
You bought the car then, did you?
Yeah, sure looked like a good deal. I gave him a certified check made out to cash for the amount. He gave me the keys. That was the last I saw of him.
Well, aside from the fact that it's an unusual deal, why do you think there's something wrong with it?
Well, for the first thing, the price he wanted for the car was too low. I had the feeling that if I'd have given him any trouble on it, he'd have come down on it.
Do you have the pink slip here?
Oh, yeah, I brought it with me this morning. I got it here in my wallet.
Any other reason you think the deal might be phony?
Well, it's hard to put it into words, Sergeant. Nothing I can point out to you, just a feeling. You stay in this business very long, you kind of get to know people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's been a lot of gags about used car salesmen, about how we're always after somebody. Most of the time, though, it's the other way around.
Is that right?
Yeah, the bums were put out of the business right after the war. Public wouldn't stand for the way they did business. Got to rely on people coming back if you're going to come out in the long run. I guess it's like almost any other kind of business.
Yeah, I suppose so.
What kind of identification did the man have to prove he was this, was it Lewis Carter?
Yeah. Well, to tell you the truth, Sergeant, I didn't ask for any. He had the pink slip. Price he was asking was right. We checked the block and body number. It was the one listed on the slip. No reason to believe he didn't own the car.
How about it, Joe?
Well, looks like it's one of the slips from DMV in San Diego.
You mean there is something wrong?
What if I use your phone, please?
Sure, you bet. Try to help yourself.
Thank you. Can I dial a Michigan number on this?
Yeah.
Fine. $2507, please. Yeah, auto theft. Mm-hmm. Hi, this is Joe Friday. Yeah. Say, we got a pink slip out here. Looks like it's one of those that were stolen from DMV down south. No, down south, San Diego? Mm-hmm. You got the list there? Yeah, I'll wait.
You mean somebody stole a pink slip from the department?
Yes, sir, as near as we can figure it, about 2 dozen of them.
Never heard of that.
Well, this is the first one of them. Hello? Yeah. All right. Made out to a Lewis Franklin Carter. No. C. Charlie, yeah. A-R, D-Dog, yeah. E-R. Carter, yeah. Mm-hmm. Registration number is 660-, no, 2 6s. 660-, 2 more 6s, 667. 660-667, that's right. Address, 4287 Ingram Street, Los Angeles. LA 5. Engine number 585509. All right, I'm sorry. 58550925. That's it. Mm-hmm. Mercury 8. Yeah. Well, that's what we figured. You got anything on the car? Mm-hmm. No, it was sold Saturday night. That's right. Yeah, there should be something out on it. Okay. Right. Thank you.
How about it? The car stolen?
No report yet, sir.
Yeah, I got to call the bank.
Now, you said you gave the man a certified check.
Yeah, I got to stop payment on it. Ain't going to be easy either. He can cash it any place. Sure looks like I'm out $2,200.
Well, it isn't likely he's been able to cash it by this time, sir.
Maybe not, but I'll give long odds that he's standing in line when the door's open. I better give him a call. Hope somebody's there.
Well, it's just 8:25.
Yeah. Probably a little early. Yeah. Doesn't sound like anybody's there yet. Well, keep trying. I got to get that check. See what I mean?
What's that?
About the jokes. Now, we're the ones always trying to get away with a fast deal. No such thing. Take this one, for instance.
Yeah?
I bought the car in good faith. Paid cash for it. Gave the guy just what he asked for.
Well, not quite, sir.
Huh?
You get a little more than that. We got a complete description of the suspect, Lewis Carter. We put out a local and an APB on him, and then we asked Dean Bergman to come out and go over the car for fingerprints. The owner of the used car lot, Jesse McGowan, told us that the car had been washed and cleaned thoroughly, but he didn't think we'd be able to come up with any fingerprints. 9 a.m. We put in a call to the bank and asked them to stop payment on the check and to notify their branch offices to do the same. McGowan supplied the number of the check, and the information was gotten out to the other banks and check cashing agencies in the area. Bergman finished checking the car, and he told us that the only print that he'd been able to find was a partial thumbprint under the dashboard. We rolled the prints of the man who'd washed the car, along with those of McGowan and the other people on the lot who'd come in contact with the automobile. None of theirs matched. We checked with the office and told them that we'd check out the address listed on the pink slip. 9:37 a.m. We pulled up in front of 4287 Ingram Street. It was a large 2-story place that had been converted into a rooming house. There were several cars parked in the front yard. We went up to the front door and rang the bell.
Want to try it again?
Yeah.
I didn't know there were any of those around anymore. Don't see many of them nowadays.
What?
What kind of doorbell?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
I'd like to see Lewis Carter.
I'm him. What do you want?
Police officers. We'd like to talk to you.
Cops? What do you want with me?
Might be better if we talked inside.
Huh?
Inside?
Oh, yeah. Come on in. I just got up. One of you guys got a cigarette?
Yeah.
Thanks. How about a match?
Here.
Thanks. Well, what do you want to see me about? Something wrong?
You own a 53 Mercury convertible?
Yeah, why?
You know where it is?
It should be out in front. Why?
You leave the keys in your car when you park it?
Once in a while I forget it, yeah. Look, I don't know if it's there now, though.
Your car's been stolen, Mr. Carter.
Huh?
Your car's been stolen.
Wait a minute. Yeah, you're right. Well, where is it? Yeah, you got it back for me? Is it in the police garage?
No, sir, I'm afraid it's not that easy. It was sold Saturday night.
Sold? Who to?
A used car dealer out in Washington.
Who owns the car, sir?
Well, I do.
Do you have the pink slip on it?
No, I didn't get it back from the Department of Motor Vehicles yet. Why?
Well, the man that sold the car had the pink slip with him.
Well, I don't care if he did have it. The car doesn't belong to him. He had no right to sell it.
When's the last time you saw your car?
I guess it was Saturday afternoon. I came home early. I parked it out in front. Yeah, Saturday afternoon.
Uh-huh. How is it you didn't know the car was taken?
Officer, you saw the front of this place. Must be half a dozen cars parked out there. The rumors, they use the yard.
You didn't use the car over the weekend, then, is that it?
Oh, no, I didn't. I got home Saturday afternoon, like I told you. I spent the whole weekend doing some painting in one of the upstairs rooms. It's been vacant a long time. I figured maybe if I put a little paint on it, I might be able to rent it.
Mm-hmm.
See, my wife used to take care of the place. She and I had some trouble. She went back east to see her mother. Seems like the house went to pot after she left, and we're really going to have trouble when she comes back and sees this mess.
How many people do you have living here?
9.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to have you take a look at this description, see if any of them fit it.
You figure it might be one of them?
Well, we'd like you to check the description if you would.
Okay. No, I'm pretty sure it isn't one of them. None of them match this.
What if you can give us their names?
Oh, sure I can. Well, why do you have to have them?
Just routine.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can give them to you, but I'm sure they are mixed up in it.
Yes, sir.
The thing I can't figure is how he got the pink slip.
It was stolen, sir.
From the state?
Yes, sir. Last month, someone broke into their offices in San Diego and stole 24 registration slips.
How much you get for the car?
$2,200?
$2,200. Thing cost me over $3,000. Guy must be a jerk, huh?
I don't know. It didn't cost him anything. 10:15 a.m. We went by the used car lot and picked up the owner. We took him down to the city hall and had him check the mug books. After going through the pictures, he was unable to give us an identification of the man who'd sold him the stolen automobile. We checked the names of the people who lived at Lewis Carter's house. One of them had a record of arrest on charges of violation of Section 4127A of the Los Angeles Municipal Code. He'd served a short term in the city jail, and then he'd been released. His physical description, however, did not match that of the suspect we were looking for. 11:35 a.m. We had the used car dealer taken back to his lot, and Frank and I checked into the office.
About the only thing we got working for us is the check.
Yeah, hope they get the word out in time.
He gets his hands on that money, and he can go a long way.
I get it. Auto theft Friday. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we did. Uh-huh. Right. That's right. Be there as soon as we can make it. Right. Bye. Well, he isn't going far.
What do you mean?
He's at the bank now.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action. At cigarette dealers, in vending machines, at supermarkets and stores coast to coast.
Chesterfields, please.
Smokers by the thousands. Yes, smokers by the thousands are now changing to Chesterfield, the only cigarette ever to give you
One, proof of low nicotine, highest quality. Chemical analyses of the country's 6 leading brands confirm that.
2, the only cigarette ever to give you this proven record with smokers. Again and again, over a full year and one half, a group of Chesterfield smokers have been given thorough medical examinations. The doctor's reports are a matter of record.
No adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfield.
A responsible independent research laboratory supervises this continuing program. Chesterfield, the only cigarette ever with a record like this. Chesterfield, best for you.
We'd gotten a call from a branch office of the bank that the check had been drawn on. At 11:30 a.m. that morning, a man had walked into the bank and presented a check for the amount of $2,200 drawn on the account of Jesse McGowan. Because of the amount of the check, it had to be okayed by the head cashier. Fortunately, he'd gotten the information about the check and had stalled the suspect long enough to call us. He was able to keep him waiting until we got there. The man was taken into custody without any trouble. He denied having anything to do with the stolen car, and he said that we'd made a mistake. We took him downtown and started to question him.
I tell you, I don't know what this is all about. I'd like to help you out, but there's nothing I can do.
Frank?
Yeah?
You want to get in touch with McGowan and have him come over?
Yeah, right away.
You want to tell me again where you got that check?
It was against the law to have a check.
I'd like to know where you got this one.
I won it.
Where?
Look, I don't know what this is all about. I'm not about to get any of my friends in trouble by naming them. I got nothing to do with this, let alone my pals.
You'll save yourself a lot more trouble if you'll tell us where you got the check.
All right, I won it in a poker game.
Pretty high stakes.
Yeah, we gave up kid games.
Where'd you win it from?
I told you I wasn't going to name any names.
We're going to get them sooner or later, you know that.
Not for me, you aren't.
You build it any way you want.
That's the way I figure it.
When was this poker game?
Saturday night.
Where?
I'm sorry, there's another one I can't answer.
You been in San Diego lately?
Not for a couple of months.
When's the last time you were down there?
I don't remember right off.
It'll help if you can.
What do you mean, help me? I got no trouble. You guys make a pinch while I'm trying to cash a check. I won the money. It was a payment for a debt. All I was trying to do was get my money. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong. Why don't you tell us where you won the money from?
And have you guys throw a beef at them? Nothing doing. I read where you fellas spend your time breaking up a game of old maid.
It's a little more serious than that, isn't it?
Well, maybe to you. I got no problem. All I got to do is sit tight.
You keep believing that, mister. You keep acting like this, and you'll see what a problem you really got here.
McGowan's on his way over, Joe.
Who's McGowan?
He's the man who wrote the check you tried to cash.
Waste of time. You don't know me.
We'll let him decide that.
Go ahead. Have your fun.
A couple of questions we'd like to ask you.
Go ahead. I got nothing more important to do.
Check your name through our identification bureau. Came up with some mighty interesting things.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Let me see, Frank.
Here.
True name Harold Drake, is that right?
Yeah.
Your address is listed as 2917 Ledgewood Drive, is that right?
Yep.
You told us you'd never been arrested.
I haven't.
Let's take a look at the picture.
You got the room rigged for moving?
I'm going to tell you something, Drake. You mark it down, you remember it. The sooner you stop playing footsie with us, the better it's going to be for you, understand?
When do you bring out the rubber hose?
That went out with the story you're trying to hand us.
Here's the picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the guy looks a lot like me. Didn't know any better, you might think we were twins.
Yeah, if you didn't know better.
But we do, huh?
Oh, come off it, Drake, will you? We got you nailed and you know it. You want to sit there and dream up these fairy tales? That's up to you, but we got a job to do. We know you'll stand for this, and so do you. Now, why don't you save us both a lot of trouble and cop out?
Look, I'd like to do it, Sergeant. No lie, I really would. But I can't cop out to something I had nothing to do with.
All right. Start all over again. Where did you get the check?
A guy gave it to me to pay off a poker debt.
You going to tell us who the guy is?
No.
I think it's time to stop playing games. Now, let's get down to what we got on the books here. You claim you never been arrested. We got a package on you here that shows 3 arrests and 2 convictions.
And a guy that looks like me.
Let's go down the hall and roll your prints. That'll clean it up, won't
I'm for that. Now, go on. Tell me the rest of the fairy tale.
I'll lay it out for you in 1-syllable words.
That'll make it easy for you.
You broke into the offices of DMV down in San Diego on February 28th.
Yeah, day goes nice in February. Somebody's going to write a song about it sometime.
You stole 26 pink slips, ready for mailing to the owners.
You must mean somebody else.
Now, that smile's going to come off your face, Drake, when McGowan walks in.
Look,
here.
I don't know who Mr. McGowan is, but I'll be happy to meet him. Now, tell me, what did I do after I stole the pink slips?
You got the address of Lewis Carter. Then you went to his home on Saturday night and you stole his car.
You drove it down to McGowan's used car lot, and with a pink slip, you sold it to him for $2,200.
I was busy that night, wasn't I?
What are you trying to prove with all this talk, Drake? You trying to make it rough on yourself? Is that what you want?
I'm not trying to do anything. All I'm doing is trying to go along with you guys.
I'll check and see if McGowan's here.
All right.
Can I have one of those?
Yeah, help yourself.
Thanks. And I wouldn't have your job for all the money in the world.
All right.
Yeah, it's a lousy way to live. Going around trying to get people to cop out to things they didn't do.
That's the way it looks to you, doesn't it?
From anywhere I sit, it turns out just that way.
A couple of things wrong.
What?
Your record, for one thing.
If you can prove it's mine.
All we got to do is walk down the hall and you've had it. As soon as we check the prints, we've turned the key.
Sounds good the way you tell it.
It's going to sound better the way the judge says it, isn't it?
Who's writing for you?
You were arrested in 1939 for auto theft. You served 3 years. Arrested in 1945, suspicion grand theft auto. Dismissed.
There, you see. They knew they had the wrong guy.
Nobody's told us. Another arrest in 1946, grand theft auto. Served 4 years.
Case of mistaken identity.
Is that what happened both times?
Some people got very bad eyes. Now, you take this fellow McGowan you're bringing in here. Wouldn't be at all surprised if he had bad eyes.
You know, there's one way to get yourself out of this, and that's to tell us where you got that check.
I don't know how to do it any more simple than I have, Sergeant. I won it playing poker, and I'm not going to tell you who I won it from. It wouldn't do any good.
I don't know who's been giving you advice, mister, but you aren't playing it very smart.
Really?
The guy who dreamed up this routine probably spent the next 20 years at Q.
As a matter of fact, he's still walking around.
All right, mister, let's go down the hall and check your print.
Come on in, Mr. McGowan.
That's the man.
You sure about that?
Swear to it in court. What are you trying to do? Cause me a lot of trouble? I haven't done anything, and you know it. Now you come in here and you say that's the man. You know what they can do to me?
All right, Drake, that's enough of that.
Let's go, Mr. McGowan.
Swear to it in court. That's the man who sold me the car.
How about it, Drake?
Nothing more, huh?
Yeah, we'll roll your prints and check them against the record. I got a couple of partials from San Diego. If yours match up, and I think they will, you've had it.
No way out, huh?
Not that I can see.
Oh, what happens, now this is just a wild question for the sake of argument. What happens if I cop out, plead guilty?
We got nothing to say about that.
You can't help out, huh?
No, sir.
Save the taxpayers a lot of money, no trial.
I told you we got nothing to say about that.
Not much to gain then by copping out, huh?
We got you made if you do or you don't. Maybe make it a little easier if there's no jury trial. That's up to the judge.
Nothing you can do?
It'll go into the book that way.
Mm-hmm. Got another cigarette?
They're right there. Help yourself.
Thanks.
All right, let's go. Might as well get the prints and finish this thing up. Come on, Drake, get up.
No hurry. Let me finish the cigarette.
I said, come on, we got other things to do.
Well, so have I.
What?
1 to 10 years.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On September 15th, trial was held in Department 98, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial.
And now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Well, this is brief, but I think very much to the point. Chesterfield is the only cigarette that gives you proof of low nicotine, highest quality. That's what I want in my cigarette, and that's what you should look for in yours. Chesterfield, regular or king size, best for you. Try 'em.
Harold Alex Drake was tried and convicted of grand theft auto 3 counts and was sentenced as prescribed by law. Grand theft auto is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of from 1 to 10 years. A hold was placed on the suspect by San Diego County for prosecution on the burglary charge. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Herb Bygren, Jack Crucian, Herb Ellis. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Watch an entirely new Dragnet case history each week on your local NBC television station. Please check your newspaper for the day and time. Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Have you tried new cork-tipped Fatima? It's the smooth smoke. Here's why. New Fatima tips of perfect cork. King size for longer filtering. And Fatima quality for a much better flavor and aroma. Remember, Fatima has the tip for your lips. Try new Fatima. See how smooth it is. Fatima is made by the makers of Chesterfield, Liggett & Myers, one of tobacco's most respected names.
Tonight, visit with Cousin Willie on NBC.
My name's Jeff Regan. I get 10 a day and expenses from a detective bureau run by a guy named Lyon. Anthony J. Lyon. They call me the Lion's Eye.
With Jack Webb as Jeff Regan, Investigator, stand by for hard-boiled action, mystery, and thrilling adventure in tonight's story of The Man in the Door.
Well, this is the way it started. The Lion called about 4 o'clock that afternoon. Said he wanted to see me down at the office. I argued a while and finally told him I'd be there. Melody was sitting in front of her typewriter when I came in, putting a new coat of paint on her nails. She handed me a blank contract with no dates filled in, jerked a thumb toward the Lion's den. I went in.
Regan, I'm glad you got here. What do you know about architects?
They draw things.
I know that much, but what about bids and all that stuff?
Well, they figure out what a building's going to cost, don't they?
Go on.
If whoever's paying for the building likes what they write down, then they're hired.
A couple of architects, maybe 3 or 4, make bids.
Well, I suppose so. Low man gets the job. Why?
Our client's an architect named Dudley Hayes, an office in the Park Central building. He thinks maybe the bank that's handling his bid might try to put something over on him.
Banks don't do things like that.
He thinks maybe a guy who works at the bank might be taking dough to shove his bid under the counter.
Why didn't you say that in the first place?
Because I'm saying it now. Haynes wants us to look into it.
All right, who do I see?
Haynes first. I only talked to him on the phone. I told him we'd have to have a contract and retainer before we did anything.
That figures.
So hop over there and find out what's what and make him sign that contract and get a check.
Anything else?
Make sure it's certified and call me if you run into any trouble.
Dudley Haynes, architect, Park Central building, had an office on the 9th floor. When I went in, a girl with hair that figured to be blonde right down to the roots pulled off her glasses and put out her cigarette. Then she kind of eased out of her chair behind that desk and moved toward me, like a panther looking for a meal.
My, you're tall, aren't you?
Well, there's nothing I can do about that.
Mr. Lyon said he was sending us one of his best men.
He always says that.
I think he meant it this time.
He's an awful liar, lady.
Dorothy. Dorothy Nolan.
Fits?
The name or the dress?
Both.
What's yours?
Jeff Regan.
Oh. Well, now we know each other.
That's nice. I came to see Haynes. He wants me to look into something for him.
I know.
He's expecting me.
I know.
Well?
I hope you have to look into a lot of things.
For Haynes?
No.
This is his office, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. But he spends most of his time in 902 into the hall. Makes his blueprints up there. I'll take you. You are tall.
Well, we started down the hall. We got about 10 feet from the frosted glass door at the end. We both stopped. We were looking at the outline of a big man behind the door. Both of us expected him to open it and walk out. Oh, he came out all right, but he walked right through it. Oh, he's been shot.
Oh.
You know him?
It's my boss, Mr. Hayes.
No, it was your boss, lady. He's dead. Lieutenant Salvatore Vendetti, Central Homicide Detail, showed up about 8 minutes after I called. He had his whole goon squad with him and a couple of guys in double-breasted suits from the district attorney's office. They roped off the entrance to the building, got hold of the elevator operators, the man who runs the cigar stand, and asked them questions. Then Vendetti looked at what was left of Haynes and started yelling into a phone.
It's gonna fast it over, but don't move until my fingerprint boys get through. Yeah. Okay, sis, where the guy lives?
At the Biltmore Hotel.
Where's his wife?
We didn't have one.
What do we tell?
We didn't have any family.
So no one's going to cry. Well, that makes it easier. Regan, was he your client?
No, nobody's a client until they sign a contract, Sally.
Well, you would bring him a contract to sign, and then you would do something for him. What?
Well, I didn't talk to him.
Sis?
Mr. Haynes had made an estimate on a little office building in Beverly Hills. He thought that a man named Adler at the bank might be taking money from someone to hold his bid out.
So he wants an investigator to look into it. Why do you think that?
Oh, I don't know.
You work for him.
Well, I don't know everything.
Neither do I. Hot, isn't it? Who's Adler?
Oh, just a name to me.
Who else?
Who else?
Architects. Who else was making a bid?
Well, I don't know that.
Now, where are we? Kelly!
Yeah?
Guy named Adler at the
Grand National
Bank. Pick him up and have him down to my office in half an hour.
Yeah? What do you want to do about reporters, Sally?
Tell him to go jump in the lake.
Yeah?
They always spell my name wrong. How long you two known each other?
An hour?
Nice.
What do you mean by that?
Just nice. Didn't hear any shots?
No, we didn't.
Tell me more about the bid.
Well, what's there to tell?
The setup.
Well, the bank handles the money.
Who says yes, who says no?
Well, the bank, but...
But what?
The contractor usually tells them who to take.
Huh? Who's that in this case?
Contractor in Long Beach, his name is George Cantrell.
I'll say this to you, Regan. When you get mixed up in anything, you certainly get mixed up with the good-looking people.
I'm not mixed up in anything.
What do you say, sis?
I'll keep my mouth shut.
She's a smart girl, Regan. Hello, honey. Won't be home for dinner. Some guy got himself killed and I'm in on it. Not long, no. Regan? I'll tell her. Wife says hello. Says come out to dinner sometime. Whoop. Sis, how much that contract worth?
Oh, the building in Beverly Hills, about $40,000.
Profit?
No, overall.
Break it down.
Well, Mr. Haynes would have said about $12,000 if he's gotten.
I know some guys are killed for a dime. Sam, where's Daddy? I'm still at the Park Central building. Get out to Long Beach and talk to a contractor named George Cantrell. And find out what architects were making bids on some stuff he was going to put up in Beverly Hills. Yeah, get the name. Okay, that about does it. Let's go. Miss Nolan?
What?
I have to take you down.
Jeff, can you do that?
Well, you're a material witness.
Well, what are you?
He's a bystander with a built-in lawyer.
Well, I do, Jeff.
Go with him.
Why do you want to spend the night in jail? I just worked for Mr. Haynes.
No phone calls. This is a murder case.
Well, get me a lawyer or something, Jeff.
Do you know a lawyer?
No. Wait, yes, I do. His name's Dave Henderson. He lives at 1648 Claremont Place. Will you for me tell him I'm in trouble?
Yeah. Check, Sally?
She didn't make a phone call. I like her, too.
Well, look, he may not be able to do anything for you tonight. It's almost 6.
But you'll see him as soon as possible?
Yeah?
Tell him I'm scared, Jeff. Scared stiff.
Well, I stayed there and phoned the Lion, told him what had happened. Well, he got mad and yelled something about me being a jinx on all our clients, and then he hung up. So I went through the classified telephone directory under attorneys and Henderson. There was a Ben, a George, a Joe, a William, but no Dave Henderson. So I drove out to the address that she'd given me. It was a blue apartment house 4 blocks west of Vermont over by the Coliseum. Somebody was cooking hamburgers somewhere, and somebody was all worked up over a ball game on the radio. I picked the baseball fan.
Well, what'll happen now is anybody's guess, but let me tell you that this ball game is a long way from being up. Hey, what'd I tell you? It's outside the ballpark, and they're coming in like homing pigeons. Bases are loaded, and they're all coming in. Oh, it's going to be 8-5.
Come on, the ball game's not that good.
What's so important, Pilgrim? I'm with the ball game.
I'm looking for a man named Dave Henderson, a lawyer.
So what?
Somebody told me he lives in this apartment house.
Who told you that?
A lady.
Ha!
Does he live here?
You try looking at the mailbox?
No name.
You cop?
Private type.
Ha!
Does he live here?
Sure he lives here.
Well, where?
End of the hall, 106.
Thanks.
So he's a lawyer, is he? With his kind of friends? Ha!
What does that mean?
You're young, ain't you, Curly?
I got a driver's license.
Let me tell you something. Don't go knocking on no doors and hear a ball game. Remember that.
Yeah, I'll remember.
And you can tell him Testy Bogart to start to that one.
And the score is 8-5 coming into the first half of the ninth, and this has been some ball game, let me tell you.
106. Here we are.
Come on in, it's unlocked.
Your name Dave Henderson?
Yeah, who wants to know?
My name's Regan. I'm a private investigator with the International Detective Bureau.
Wrong steer gumshoe, I don't need one.
Look, I'm not looking for work. I'm looking for you.
What'd you say it was? Regan?
That's right.
R-E-G-A-N. Regan. Regan. Learned that just an hour ago. Cute, huh?
I met a friend of yours today.
Dave Henderson never had a friend.
She said she was a friend of yours.
But I didn't say it was a friend of hers. Hey, who are we talking about anyway?
Dorothy Nolan.
How is Dorothy?
Not so good.
Thought you were a detective.
I am.
You sound like a doctor.
Look, you sound like a guy with a chip on his shoulder.
Sound like a lot of things. You're trying to be tough, Pete.
No wonder you aren't in the telephone directory.
I'll just skip that.
She said you were a lawyer.
I say I drink too much. Haven't seen me drinking, have you?
She wants you to get in touch with her. The man she was working for was murdered today.
She kill him?
Well, they're holding her.
Material witness or suspect?
Material witness right now. She doesn't want to spend the night in jail.
Who does? That's why she isn't feeling so good, huh? He wants me to get her out.
Something like that.
Who's handling the case downtown?
Detective named Wendetti.
Yeah, and where do you come in?
Well, they didn't give her that one phone call.
Yeah. You're sensitive. What if I said no?
Well, that's your business.
You know why she asked you to see me? Because I'm a guy she knows. And every guy who knows little Dorothy does a little something for her. Ever met him like that, Regan?
Sometime.
I'm just checking.
Checking what?
She's pretty good with the works. Eyes just right for the job. Hair just right. Everything just right. She can make you do a lot of things you don't want to do. Wait till you see her in a bathing suit. Ooh, that's something, brother.
Well, they aren't wearing them in the county jail.
Okay, I'll phone Wendetti and find out what her bond is.
Look, this is a murder case. There's no bond on this. You know that.
It all depends how you handle it. I'll think of something.
Yeah, I'll bet you will.
We don't like each other much, do we?
Nope.
That's the way it goes.
Listen, she said to tell you she was scared.
Well, some of us are scared part of the time. And somebody gets shot. And everybody gets scared. You scared?
Nope.
Iron Man Regan. Have a good time.
Did I say Haynes was shot?
No. You didn't say a thing. See you somewhere, Peter.
Well, I stopped by Musso Frank's and had the special, and then I went on home. I tried to make a couple of calls, but Wendetti was out, and the desk sergeant thought I was a reporter, and he wouldn't tell me a thing about Dorothy Nolan. While I was sitting there, the phone began jumping around on the hook.
Regan?
Yeah.
This is me. Where you been? I called your place 20 times, but I've called her once.
Well, I've been busy seeing a lawyer.
What do you need a lawyer for? You aren't married.
Somebody else needs one.
Who?
Dorothy Nolan, that blonde who worked up in Haynes' office. Wendetti's holding her.
Good. I want you to go down and see her.
What for?
We can still make something on this thing if we play it smart. And when I talked to Haynes on the phone this afternoon, I told him I wanted a certified check.
So what?
So that means there's a check for $100 lying around his office somewhere. And it's made out to International.
Look, he's dead, remember?
Everybody dies. Don't worry about it.
We weren't even hired.
We had a verbal contract.
We had nothing.
That check's no good to anybody but us.
We didn't do anything for him.
Well, buy him some flowers. Now hop down to the pokey and see that dame and find out where that check is.
We can't do that.
I talked to Harry Presidio, and he'll give us a lead to get in. Hello? Hello? Regan, you're still there.
I was still there, but I wasn't listening to the lion. I was looking at a skinny little man with one leg.
Regan, you're still there.
Now, don't ask me how he made it inside my door. He was just there, propped up on a pair of crutches, swaying back and forth, watching me with a couple of sick gray eyes that were so full of water you'd think they were going to float right out of his head. All at once, he went down like a busted sugar sack. He'd been shot twice through the neck with a small caliber gun, a 25, 32, I don't know. I found a dozen razor blades in one pocket and 2 dozen sets of shoelaces to go with them. There wasn't anything that told me his name, but there was a picture inside his shirt pocket. One of those things that you have taken in a penny arcade, you know, in front of phony pasteboard props. Well, the man with one leg was looking out from between a pair of painted angel's wings. And the guy standing next to him, who was smiling up at the halo, was the same man that I'd seen that afternoon. An architect named Haynes. A man who needed a private detective. A man who walked out a glass door and then dropped dead. And the one printed word above that picture stuck like a wart on an egg that said, Happy Land.
You are listening to the story of the man in the door. Tonight's adventure with Jeff Regan, Investigator. Here is a special and important message to every businessman listening. To every businessman, regardless of the size or the type of his business. Gentlemen, do you realize that the schools of this community help you every day that you're in business? That's right. For one thing, our schools teach the boys and girls of this community to cherish the human rights, the free enterprise on which our country and your business are founded. With each new generation graduated from our schools, the Army defending our way of life, and your business grows stronger. What's more, good teachers and well-equipped schools do a better job of developing our children's talents. The result? School graduates who become more skilled and more efficient employees. So remember, any time and taxes that you contribute to improving local schools are an investment in your own business future. Education is good business. Education can maintain our freedom. And freedom is everybody's job. And now, back to the story of the man in the door and Jeff Regan, Investigator.
Well, I left the little man with the one leg lying there. Wasn't much I could do for him. I wanted to wait before I called homicide. I took the picture I found in his pocket and I drove to Happy Land. It turned out to be an open-air penny arcade on 5th and Main. Smelled like all the hot dogs in the world had been made right there. There were machines all over the place telling you how strong you were, how rich you'd be, and who you'd marry. All for a penny. I guess it wasn't much of a bargain. The only customer was a sailor trying his luck at the shooting gallery. Back in the corner, a tired-looking girl in light blue slacks and a dirty gray sweater was sitting on a stool by the hot dog counter staring at nothing.
Want some pennies?
Not right now, no.
Oh, just looking? Go ahead. When you figure out where you're going to spend your money, come back and I'll give you some change.
You got a picture gallery here?
Oh. Don't tell me you're a real big spender and want to have your picture taken.
Maybe. You got one?
Yeah, we got one.
Where is it?
In there. If you really want to get your picture taken, I'll climb off this stool and take you back. I want to tell you now, if you're just trying to be sociable, you can go and fly kites.
You run the picture concession?
I run the picture place and the hot dog place, and I sleep out in the morning. Oh, I wish I had better brains than to marry that slob and get myself stuck in a cheap dump like this.
All right. Do you remember taking this picture?
How would I know? I take a lot of pictures.
Well, come on, look at it.
All right. Yeah, I took it. That what sold you?
When?
What do you think I am? Can't remember what night it is every time a pair of drunks comes in and wants their pictures taken together.
Well, try to remember, will you?
You're a real wise guy, mister. You don't want no picture. You just want some talk. You're a cop.
Friend. I met the little guy in the picture once.
Dusty?
What was that?
I thought you said you met him once.
Well, we weren't introduced. I just met him. Who is he?
Dusty Rhodes. He works the circuit.
What circuit?
5th and Main, STEM. Business section.
What kind of business?
Dusty handled the razor blade and shoelace traffic. He hates pencils.
What did he do when he wasn't working?
What does anybody do? He went out and got loaded.
Go on.
And you don't know him very well for a friend. How am I going to know I'm not getting Dusty in trouble talking to you like this?
Nobody can get him in trouble anymore, lady.
What do you mean?
He was shot tonight.
Oh, no. Oh, poor little guy.
You know where he lived?
Seashore Hotel. The Seashore Hotel. Oh, gee, Miss I'm sick. Oh, I'm real sick.
Brother, the seashore caters to many types of people, good and bad, just out of the pokey. 2 bits a night for transients, $1.50 a week for solid citizens. And sign and register, it's a law.
I'm not looking for a room.
Then you're wasting my time, brother. My beer's getting warm.
Look, I'm a private investigator. My name's Regan.
I liked you before you said them 2 words, brother, but you have soured me. Private investigator means private eye, and it all means cop. And you are not welcome. Now blow.
I'm trying to find out something about a man named Dusty Rhodes.
We do not ask questions and we do not give answers. Now, blow.
I was told he lived here.
You find me tongueless, brother. Now, blow.
Did you know him?
During the last 5 years, I have acquired 85 pounds and a very bad heart, or I'd have you in the alley right now.
Oh, yeah, sure you would. Here.
Abraham Lincoln was a very fine man, and he took a very fine picture. I seem to have found my tongue, brother. Will it be?
The key to his room for a starter, huh?
Disallowable and punishable by fine and imprisonment. Into the hall, turn the bent resto to the right.
Thanks. Well, I don't know what I expected to find there. Outside of more razor blades and more shoelaces was a little room full of dirty white curtains and a wire bed that sagged in the middle. I was standing there watching a neon sign advertised beer a block down the street when I thought I heard somebody behind me. Whoever it was had been drinking bad whiskey, but he was still pretty good. It landed a quarter of an inch above my right ear, and I piled up in a lamp, a chair, and a pitcher full of water.
5 berries gets you a look, brother, but doesn't get you a room. Besides, it's already taken and the bed's over there. Now, come on. You didn't go to sleep, brother. You was knocked asleep. I apologize. Why the games?
Who came in after me?
You're the only one.
You sure?
My name's Sam Preacher. Brother, I'm very sure.
Well, maybe he was waiting for me, huh?
I don't generally ask him, but the question is this. Why?
Oh, I don't know. Unless...
What's the matter? Something missing?
Just a picture.
You can get lots of pictures.
You didn't see anybody?
That makes the third time, brother, and the answer's still negative.
Okay.
Then let's blow, buddy, huh?
Coroner's office.
Luke, this is Regan.
The lion's eye. What's with you, baby? When Daddy tells me you walked into one today.
Yeah, I did. You got him there?
Haynes Dudley? Sure. Want to come down and take a look? He's toe-tagged and salted down real pretty.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Them 32 slugs was just incidental. The guy had 4 weeks in the outside.
All right, give it to me.
Haynes Dudley was dying from malnutrition, alcoholism, and a couple other things with long names.
Give me one long name.
Diabetes. He didn't take good care of himself, funny,
A misspent life.
Somebody's gonna take the gas chamber for nothing.
When Daddy know this?
Sure. And he was wearing a brand new suit, too. We'll sew up the holes. We'll bury him in it.
Well, you aren't finished yet, Luke.
Baby!
A guy with one leg dropped dead in my place a couple hours ago.
It's after 11.
I'm sorry, Luke.
They connected?
Yeah?
Murder?
Yeah.
Well, come down and see us anytime, Regan. We're open 24 hours a day.
Fell at the homicide office. They told me she'd been released about 10 o'clock. They said a lawyer named Henderson had put up the bail and handled the whole thing. They gave me an address on her, and I went out there. It was a bungalow court on Normandy, and it took her a long time to answer the door.
Oh, you?
Yeah, tell me how tall I am.
I'd love to, but not right now.
They told me you'd been out since 10 o'clock. Maybe I should have come sooner.
Dale gives me the willies. I'm about to take a shower.
I was kind of hoping we could have a drink.
I did better than I thought with you.
I got a hold of a lawyer for you, didn't I?
Yes?
Well, doesn't that rake me an invitation to have a drink?
I said later. I'm really tired.
I said no.
Wait a minute. Well, if you're that thirsty, all right.
That's better.
And every day my boss gets killed, and I meet a private detective.
I need a drink. I was slugged tonight.
Throat?
Yeah, right here, see?
Oh, it looks nasty. Why did anyone do that to you?
Wanted a picture I had?
Whistler's mother?
Just a picture of a couple of drunks who are dead now.
Maybe whoever did it was a relative.
Guess again.
I don't like games.
But you play them all the time.
Don't we all? I know a psychiatrist who says we can't help ourselves.
You can.
I liked you when you walked into the office this afternoon, but I'm not so sure I like you now. Maybe you better go.
Expecting somebody? Huh?
What are you doing? You let go of me. Let go
Oh,
of
no,
me.
baby. You got real nice eyes. I want to look at them.
Let go. He's crazy. You.
Hello, Dave. We didn't hear you knock. Did you bring your piano?
What's the idea?
He gave me.
Why don't you tell him to go away, baby? Anybody can tell we're busy.
Let her go, Regan.
You want to break us up?
Can't you see he's just trying to make you jealous and say things?
Come here, honey.
No. You don't have to do that.
I said let her go.
That the same 32 you killed a one-legged man with?
Over, Gumshoe.
Don't be a fool.
Stay right where you are, baby. You're first.
Listen to me, baby.
I listened to you too long.
You don't need guessing. He doesn't have any proof of anything.
You can cry if you want to, baby. This is going to hurt.
She spun around and fell into a coffee table and then lay very quiet on the rug. Her eyes were open and she didn't say anything. She just lay there looking up at him. I couldn't tell where she'd been hit. He seemed to forget all about me because he walked over to her, knelt down beside her, put the gun right up against her head.
This is awful close range, baby, but I can't afford to miss.
Neither could I. Well, when Daddy and I stuck our heads together, and it all came out when we looked into a couple of things. You see, Dave Henderson was Dudley Haynes, and he was wanted for attempted murder and embezzling and one thing or another back in Ohio. So he figured it'd be a good idea to bump himself off. Dorothy helped him with the idea. They both went down on Main Street, and they picked up an old bum, dressed him up in a new suit, and shot him. I was supposed to walk in with Dorothy, and she'd identify the body, and as far as anybody knew, Dudley Haynes would be dead. Dave didn't figure that she'd be taken down. She didn't figure that she'd get scared, and neither of them figured the man with one leg was a pal of the man that they'd shot. Well, it seems that they'd looked through a lot of files, and they'd figured that a lot of murders go unsolved. Maybe they do. I don't know. Well, anyway, he sat down on that little bench up there in San Quentin last week. The one with that bucket of acid in the room. Oh, he held his breath as long as he could, but everybody has to breathe. He's buried up there with a lot of other guys that figured they could get away with murder. Dorothy? She wasn't hurt too bad. They had her in a wheelchair for the trial. She got 15 years as an accomplice. Some kind of a deal. State's evidence and all that. I don't think I'll wait for her. She wasn't that good.
Jack Webb is featured as Jeff Regan, with Wilms Herbert as Anthony J. Lyon. It's CBS at 9:30 next week for more hard-boiled action and mystery with Jeff Regan, Investigator. Written by E. Jack Newman and produced by Sterling Tracy. Dorothy Nolan was played by Betty Lou Gerson, and David Ellis was Dave Henderson. Lorene Tuttle, William Conrad, and Lou Krugman supported. It's perfectly natural and wholesome for some men who want to leave great wealth behind. There's a druggist in a small town in Pennsylvania who'll do that. The wealth he'll leave behind will make many lives easier and happier and finer down through the years. For he was the principal donor of an outdoor meeting place for religious services in a Boy Scout camp in the Poconos. Working with his neighbors in community activities, he saw the need of this improvement, helped to install it. That's the kind of wealth that you can bequeath to generations coming on as you enjoy the freedom of working with your neighbors for the betterment of your community. Freedom that can be anybody's pleasure is everybody's job. Music for this program is arranged by Dick Arant. Next week at 9:30, Jeff Regan, Investigator, brings you another thrill-packed half hour with his story of the House by the Sea. Bob Stevenson speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Chesterfield. Chesterfield. Low in nicotine, highest in quality, best for you. Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen,
The story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned the homicide detail. You get a call that a man has barricaded himself in his apartment. The report says he's going to kill himself. Your job, stop him. Smokers by the thousands are now changing to Chesterfield, the only cigarette ever to give you 1, proof of low nicotine, highest quality. 2, this proven record with smokers. No adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfield. Chesterfield, regular or king size, low in nicotine, highest in quality, best for you.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, November 18th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working a day watch out of homicide detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Warman. My name's Friday. I was on my way back to the office, and it was 10:32 a.m. when I got to room 42. Homicide.
Joe?
Yeah?
That didn't take too long.
No, Saul just got the coffee made. Here you are.
Thanks. Boy, it sure is hot.
Mm-hmm. Anything come in?
No, it's been pretty quiet.
I got it. Homicide, Friday. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. When was that? Mm-hmm. No, ma'am. No, if you'll wait just... Yes, I understand, but... Yes, ma'am. If you'll wait just a moment, I'll transfer you to robbery. Yes, ma'am. Well, I'll explain it to you over there. Right. Would you hold on, please? Would you give this call to 2511, please? Yes, that's right.
Sure dismal weather.
Yeah. Feels like it's going to rain, doesn't it? Paper says it might hit tonight.
Yeah. Well, I hope it clears up before Sunday.
What do you got figured out this time?
Well, Joe, I don't understand why you say it that way.
You don't, huh?
No.
Well, what do you got figured?
Take a look at this. I got just the ticket right here.
The ticket, huh?
Yes, sir, look at that. The answer to every homeowner's prayer. Take a look.
Yeah.
Gonna be a beauty, isn't it?
Well, if you say so.
Now, look here, Joe. Look what it says. Easy, simple, install in a few hours. Just the ticket.
Do you need one of these?
Have you seen our backyard lately?
No, not for a couple of weeks. Looked all right the last time I did see it.
Well, you ought to see it now. It's pretty bad.
It is, huh?
Awful. I just stand there and look at Perry's yard and want to throw rocks at mine.
Perry's the fireman, isn't he?
No, Joe. That's Neil you're thinking of. He lives on the other side. Perry's the insurance salesman.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He's the one who tries all the sales talks out on you, is that
Yeah, tells me all about him. That's pretty good, too. Joe, would you believe it? Up to now, I've bought $246,000 worth of insurance.
What?
Yeah, me, just a policeman. Of course, that's all on paper, just on paper.
Yeah. What's wrong with your yard?
Too dry.
Too dry.
Yeah. Hot weather this summer, you know. Little plants that Faye put out drop like flies, Joe.
They died.
Like flies. But this is the answer, this right here. See? Home sprinkler system. Install it yourself.
What's that?
Look at it.
Well, what is it?
It's a home sprinkler system, Joe. Read what it says here. Resists corrosion, rust, and rot. It's the answer.
It is.
Right. I'm going to put one of these little gems in my backyard. Just turn on the faucet. Everything's all watered. Don't have to stand there with a hose. Just turn it on and it's watered.
You're going to put this in yourself, are you?
Well, I could, Joe. Like it says here in the paper, shouldn't be any trouble at all.
Who's going to do it?
Well, I thought I'd get all the stuff together and then just start on it Sunday. You know, about 10:30 in the morning. Old Perry and Neil work out in the yards that time.
They do, huh?
Yeah. They'll see this little gem and they're going to hop over the fence, see what it's all about.
And then what happens?
I got him, Joe. I got him.
You have?
Sure, Joe. They see me laying out the sprinkler system right off. They're going to want to help.
Well, if you want them to give you a hand, why don't you just ask them?
Well, you just can't do it that way, Joe. It wouldn't be right.
It wouldn't.
No, you got to be subtle. Remember the kid that whitewashed the fence?
Who?
You know, Huck Finn or whatever his name was. Whitewashed the fence.
You still reading those books?
No, but I remember that he was pretty subtle. I got it figured out. They'll come over and, look around, start asking questions, and next thing they'll be working. After we get the system in, I'll throw a little barbecue and just sit around, turn on the new sprinkler, and it'll be cool.
Yeah.
Sure hope it clears up before Sunday.
Well, it doesn't matter, does it?
Well, sure, Joe. If it rains Sunday, old Perry and Neil won't be out in their yards. They won't be able to see me with the hoses and the sprinkler heads.
Yeah, but if it rains, there won't be any need to put in the sprinkler system right away, will there? I got it. Homicide, Friday. Yeah, Sid. Uh-huh. Did you talk to him? What'd he say? Right. All right, we'll be right over. Want to get your coat?
What is it?
Sid Hughes over at the Mirror.
Yeah.
Just got a call from a guy who's going to kill himself. "10:37 a.m. Frank and I notified the complaint board what had happened, and then we left the office. As we drove out of the City Hall garage, it started to rain. We turned up First Street and then over to Spring. Sid Hughes, the reporter who'd called me, was waiting in front of the Mirror building.
Sid, over here.
Oh.
You got the address, Sid?
Yeah, here. 2682 North Ardmore, out by the Ambassador. Hi, Smith.
Hi, Sid.
All right, let's go. What do you got on it, Sid?
Well, a couple of minutes ago, the guy called. I answered the phone. Told me his name was Jan Padacek. Said he was going to kill himself.
Yeah?
I talked to him for a couple of seconds. It was easy to see he wasn't just another crank. He meant what he said.
How'd he happen to call you?
I don't know. He said something about the paper treating him right. Said he wanted to thank us.
You know what he's talking about?
No, I got Casey Shawhan working on it now. He's our city editor.
Yeah, I know.
He's checking the morgue file, see if he can come up with anything.
You ever heard of him, Frank?
No, name does nothing to me.
How come you figure he's on the level, Sid?
Well, the way he talks, I can't put my finger on it. Just something in the way he sounded. You knew he meant what he said.
What'd you tell him?
Well, I tried to bluff it through. Told him that there wasn't anything so important he ought to kill himself over it.
Yeah?
I asked him to let me talk to him. Asked him to wait until I could see him.
What'd he say to that?
Told me it wouldn't do any good. Nothing could make him change his mind. Said I'd be wasting my time.
Yeah?
Told him I had a lot of it. Wouldn't do any harm to let me see him.
He went along with that, did he?
Yeah. Said he'd wait 15 minutes. Told me to come alone, not to figure on trying anything.
Yeah. Frank, you better kill the siren when we get near the place.
Right.
What time you got?
10:42.
Can we go any faster?
What's that?
I told you I believe the guy.
Yeah?
He said to get there before 11:05.
.2682 Ardmore was a two-story Spanish-type apartment house. There was a large courtyard in the center of the U-shaped building. Apartment number 8 was at the rear of the yard. When we got there were several other people standing by the entrance. 2 police units had arrived, and the officers were trying to keep the crowd away from the door to the apartment. 11:03 a.m. As we walked back toward Padacek's apartment, Sid Hughes and I tried to figure some way to talk the man out of carrying out his threat to take his own life.
I'm not sure how to handle this thing, Joe. I'd feel pretty bad if I went in and botched it up. Wish you could do it.
Well, has Padacek ever seen you before?
I don't think so. Why?
Well, we can try a switch if you want to. Tell him I'm Sid Hughes.
Well, that'd be better, Joe. You got some idea what to do in there. I'm not sure I could swing it.
All right.
I told him I'd shove one of my cards from the newspaper under the door. That way he'd know it was me.
All right.
Now, after you're inside, I'll try and get in touch with Casey and see what he's been able to come up with on Padacek.
Good.
Oh, better leave your gun here. Told him I'd come unarmed.
All right.
You think it's a good idea to go in there without a gun, Joe?
Well, we haven't got much to say about it. The big thing right now is to try to get him out alive.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Okay, you want to hang on to this for me?
Right.
All right, let's give it a try.
Who is it?
It's Sid Hughes, Padacek. I told you I'd be out here. You want to let me in?
What about the card?
All right, here it is. Under the door. How about it? Padacek? Well, he took the card.
I don't know. I hope this thing works out.
So you're going to try to get in touch with your office, aren't you, Sid, and see what you can get on him? Might help. Come on, Padacek, let me in.
The police are there. I'm not going to let them in.
They aren't going to bother you?
Tell them to go away. Tell them to get off the porch.
All right, Frank, you better get the other officers to clear the place out.
Right.
All right, the police are gone now. You want to let me in?
Will you bring my mail in for me?
What's that?
My mail. It's in the box right on the side of the porch. In the box.
All right, I'll get it. All right, now let me in, huh?
Come on. I'll stand right there.
You don't need that gun. I'm not going to cause you any trouble.
Turn around.
I told you I was coming unarmed.
Turn around.
We'll see.
All right, let's go upstairs.
All right.
Just a minute. Okay, let's go.
Why don't you put the gun down? You're going to need that.
I feel better with it.
Mind if I take off my raincoat?
No, go ahead. Make yourself comfortable.
Here's your mail.
Thanks.
But you going to open it up?
No reason to. There's nothing important.
You can't tell. There might be.
There isn't. I know that.
You want a cigarette?
No, but you go ahead. Here, have one of these. I want to be able to see your hands.
All right. So what's this all about?
There's no other way.
What do you mean?
All night I've been thinking about it since I got home. There's nothing for me anymore. I'm not going to prison. If they think they're going to take me, then they're wrong.
Well, who says you're going to prison?
The authorities. They said I have to go to jail for 90 days. I know how they plan it. They tell me 90 days, and then they'll keep me there for more. Well, I'm not going back to prison.
You ever been in jail before?
Yes, 5 years.
What for?
For nothing. 5 years because I didn't agree with what they were doing. I'm not going back. I'm not going. I'll kill myself first.
All right, take it easy. You want to start from the beginning and tell me what happened?
I said I forged a man's name to a check.
Did you?
Yes, but you've got to understand I didn't have any money. They're going to take my car away from me. I'm behind on my rent here. I owe money. All my creditors were hounding me. I thought if I could just get a little money to pay the bills, then I could pay it back when I got a job. I was going to pay it back, all of it. I really was.
How much was the check?
$250.
Whose name did you sign to it?
A man I know. I got a check and signed his name. He has the money. I was going to pay him back. I have a job coming up. As soon as I got paid, I was going to put the money back. I didn't mean any harm. I knew it was wrong, but it was the only thing I could think of. They were hounding me.
Well, what about that car? Couldn't you sell it?
I suppose so, but then if I did, I wouldn't be able to get to my job. I needed my car for that. I had to keep the machine.
Well, you'll have a trial. If you tell them what happened, they'll probably understand. The court will make an allowance.
I've had a trial. I told them I was guilty, that I did forge a check. They told me I had to go to jail.
You said you'd been in prison before.
Yes. 5 years, and I escaped.
Where was that?
In Czechoslovakia. They put me in prison because I wouldn't do what they told me. They killed my father and my mother, and then they put me in prison. I know what it's like. I'm not going back.
Well, the prisons here aren't concentration camps. You know
that. That's what you say. I know different. I've lived in them. You see here? You see these 4 teeth in front?
Yes, I see them.
Well, they're false.
Is that right?
I lost the teeth when I was kicked by a guard. You know why I was kicked? You know why he did it?
No.
Because my clothes were torn. That's the reason he kicked me. I tore my clothes, so he knocked my 4 front teeth out.
That's all over now, isn't it? Things like that don't happen here.
Well, maybe not out in front of people, but they happen in the prisons. I'm not going to have it happen to me again. There were 800 of us, all arrested at the same time. 800, Mr. Hughes.
Yeah.
800 men, people I knew. 800 human beings with homes and families. And I'm the only one alive now. All the rest were killed. All taken to Buchenwald and run through the showers. Now, don't tell me about prisons, Mr. Hughes. I know. I've lived in them.
Tell me something.
Yes.
You remember the name of the judge who sentenced you here on the forgery charge?
Yes.
Well, let me call him. Let me get him over here and talk this thing over. We can work something out. There's no reason for you to do a thing like you're planning here. It's not that important.
Maybe not to you.
It isn't to anybody. We can work something out here. Let me call the judge.
No, sit down, Mr. Hughes. Look, I'm not a stupid man. I have degrees from 3 universities. I speak 4 languages. I spent 5 years jumping every time a guard looked at me. 5 years wishing they'd kill me. 5 years wishing I could live in hell because it'd be much better than the way things were. Now they think they're going to send me back. They're not. You understand that, don't you, Mr. Hughes? Don't you?
Yeah, I think I understand it. Look, you said yourself that you thought about it all night. Now, isn't it possible that you're making this thing more important than it really is?
No.
I came in here to help you. I want you to help yourself.
Get your hands off me, Mr. Hughes. Now get over there.
Look, I don't know how to tell you, Padachek. I don't know how to make you believe me, but none of us want to hurt you. We want you to be happy here. That's one of the reasons you came to this country, isn't it?
Yes, I read the books about freedom. That's why I came here. Now they're trying to take that freedom away from me. Before I even have it, they're trying to take it away from me. I forged a check. I admitted it. I told them I did it. But I told them I'd pay the money back. That didn't seem to make any difference. They still said I had to go to jail.
You said yourself that you were put in prison for not agreeing with the authorities. Isn't that what you said?
Yes, that's what I said.
Well, they don't do that in this country. You know that. Everybody's entitled to his own opinion, live his own life. We got laws that are written by the people to protect the people. You understand that, don't you? The people themselves write the law.
Yes, I understand that.
Well, you don't break a law just a little bit. Either you keep it or you don't. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Well, you broke the law, didn't you? Isn't that right?
I told you I did. I broke the law.
All right, now listen. After you've broken the law, you can't make it right by saying you'll pay the money back. But the fact that you do want to rectify your mistake will certainly be taken into consideration by anybody in authority. You understand that?
I don't know. I try to think. I've thought about it over and over. I can't come to any answer.
Where are you going?
Got to take something for this headache. Got a bad head.
What's this here?
What?
This note here on the bureau.
That's what I wrote. Tell why I did it, so they'd know.
Nobody understands what has happened to me. I cannot accept the jail term. All I want is to find peace and freedom. I guess this is the only way to do that. I'm sorry to cause anybody any trouble. Please take care of my dogs. Padachek?
Yes?
You know this is all wrong, don't you?
I don't know. I wish I did, but I don't know.
No, we're not going to need this. There's going to be no reason for it.
What are you doing? Get away from me. Leave my things alone. Like all the rest, you don't understand either. You better get out of here. Get out.
All right, if that's the way you want it.
Why'd you crumple up this note? Now, why?
I didn't think that you'd need it. I thought we had this thing straightened out.
Well, we haven't. I told you, get out.
All right, wait a minute. You said that you'd pled guilty. You admitted you forged that check. Isn't that right?
That's what I said.
Well, how come you're here? How come you happen to be home?
They gave me 24 hours to arrange care for my dogs. I put up a bond. They gave me 24 hours.
Where'd you get the money for the bond?
One of the companies by the jail. They put it up for me.
Well, how about the dogs? Did you take care of them?
No, not yet.
Where are they?
They're up in the kitchen.
Can I see them?
You like dogs?
Certainly I like dogs.
All right, come on. There they are. This one's Marta. This little one's Eric.
Yeah, they look like real good dogs.
They are. Thoroughbred shepherds. Only friends I have.
That's not true. You got friends.
Who? Tell me who.
Well, me, for one, I'd like to be your friend if you'll just give me the chance. How about it? What do you say?
What's that on your belt?
What?
The leather case on your belt. What is it? You don't have to answer. I'll tell you. It's a bullet clip. You're not Sid Hughes, are you? Are you?
No, Jan.
No, you're a policeman. You're here to take me to prison, but you made a mistake, a big mistake.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill you.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
At cigarette dealers, in vending machines, at supermarkets and stores coast to coast.
Chesterfield's, please.
Smokers by the thousands. Yes, smokers by the thousands are now changing to Chesterfield. The only cigarette ever to give you
one, proof of low nicotine, highest quality. Chemical analyses of the country's 6 leading brands confirm that.
2, the only cigarette ever to give you this proven record with smokers. Again and again, over a full year and 1/2, a group of Chesterfield smokers have been given thorough medical examinations. The doctor's reports are a matter of record.
No adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfield.
A responsible independent research laboratory supervises this continuing program. Chesterfield, the only cigarette ever with a record like this. Chesterfield, best for you.
11:18 a.m. I'd been in the apartment with Jan Patacek for 13 minutes. During that time, he'd held a chrome-plated Luger pointed at me. We'd gone into the kitchen to see the dogs, and Patacek had noticed the cartridge clip on my belt. When I'd given my gun and holster to Frank, I'd forgotten to take the clip off. Patacek had noticed it when I kneeled down to pet the dogs. He'd looked at it for a minute, and then he motioned me to go into the living room. He followed, keeping the gun pointed at me. When we got into the center of the room, he told me to sit down, and he walked over to the other side of the room and sat on a chair.
There's some cigarettes on the table next to you. Please give me one.
Yeah, sure. Here.
Just throw it over here.
All right, here you are.
Thanks. Take one yourself if you like. Who are you?
My name's Friday.
You're a policeman, aren't you?
That's right.
You know, killing isn't new to me. I've done it before.
All right?
Yeah. See this gun?
Yeah.
I killed the man who owned it. He was the one at the prison camp, the one who kicked me. After I escaped, I went back. Now I have the gun. Now I don't have to listen to other people who tell me what to do or when or how to do it. You'll listen to me because you know if you don't, I'll kill you. You know that, don't you?
Maybe.
I've seen a lot of killing. I know what it is. I won't hesitate to kill you.
What about the people you know here?
What about?
How are they going to feel after you've done away with yourself?
It won't matter to them.
You sound pretty sure about that.
I'm sure as I can be.
You mean that in the 2 years that you've been over here in this country, you haven't made any friends that are going to care about you?
Not at all.
What about the people in that picture?
What?
Right here. This photograph here. Christmas party, all the signatures. Won't they care?
No.
How about this one here? It says, to Jan, with deepest regards. Signed, Mary Jane. Is this her?
Yes, that's her.
Looks like a nice girl to me.
She is.
Well, she'll care, won't she?
I don't think so.
Why?
Because all of them, they felt sorry for me all the time. They tried to make it easier because they felt sorry for me. They thought I didn't know, but I did. All the time, I knew.
Well, some of the things that they wrote on the pictures doesn't make it look like that. Some of them are pretty nice.
They didn't mean them.
You really believe that?
I don't have any other choice.
How long's it been since you did believe in anything?
Long time.
How long?
I guess since my mother died.
When was that?
At the beginning of the war. Right after the conference. They came one night. They took her and my father. Took them both. I never saw them again. I heard what happened. Guess that's the time I stopped believing in anything.
How'd you happen to come over to this country?
After I escaped, I went to England for 5 years. I worked with the Czech forces there. Then, when the war was over, I got permission to come here.
I think you said before that you came over here because you wanted the freedom. Isn't that right?
Yes.
You found it, didn't you?
I guess so.
Anyone ever try to tell you where you could go?
No.
What church to go to?
No.
You can say what you think, can't you?
Yes.
Well, why do you want to do this thing?
I try to tell you, I know about prisons. I know what goes on behind the doors. I lived there. I lived and died in them. You ever been in one?
Yes.
As a prisoner?
No, not as a prisoner.
Well, that's just it. Maybe they got you fooled, too. I remember when the people from the relief organizations would come along. The guard would take us out in the court of the prison. They'd make us stand there and tell the people how good they were to us. If we didn't say it that way, then they'd take us back and beat us to death. I know what goes on behind the doors. I know because I saw it. I lived it. Now, don't tell me what happens. Now, you and your law come along and tell me that you're going to send me back.
What about them? Who's going to take care of the dogs? Isn't that the reason that you're here? Isn't that the reason you came home? Who's going to take care of them?
I don't know. Somebody will.
They're going to miss you.
They'll miss me feeding them, that's all.
You know better than me.
Mother, Eric, be quiet.
Well, they seem to mind, don't they?
They're well trained.
You ever shown them?
No.
We have a lot of good dog shows around here. You ought to show them. They probably do real good.
Do they have dog shows in prison?
I don't know how to tell you. I don't know how to make you believe me. If you just let me get that judge over here, let him talk to you. Maybe he can make you believe that it's not going to be like it was in your country. You'll be well fed. You'll get decent clothes. Nobody's going to beat you. We don't do things like that here.
I'm not going to prison.
Just let me get that judge over here. Now, let me call him on the phone. He can be here in just a few minutes. He'll tell you. He can do something. There's no reason why we can't work this thing out. Now, let me try to help you, please.
I want to believe you, Mr. Friday. I really do, but it's hard to believe in anything.
I'll just ask you one thing. Trust me. I've never seen you before. I don't know you outside of this room, but I ask you to believe me. And I promise you, I give you my word that I won't let anything happen to you.
I don't know. I don't know.
Let me have that gun. Let me take it. Then we can work things out.
Really think we can do it?
I think we can.
John? John, let me in. I want to see you.
They're here now to take me. You won't let them do it, will you? Please don't let them take me.
Don't worry. All right, you down there. Get away from that door. All right, come on, Jan.
I'll go crazy if they put me in prison again. I know I will. I don't want to go back.
Jan, come on. Give me the gun, will you?
I won't go back. If I go this time, it'll be for good. Now, if they take me this time, they'll kill me for what I did. I know they will.
No, they won't, Jan. Now, please, give me that gun.
Get away from that door and stay away, will you? It's going to break in. Quick, we got to hide. If they find us, they'll kill us both.
Come on, Jan, believe me. I won't let anybody hurt you. I promise. I give you my word. Now, give me that gun.
You mean that?
I do.
You won't let him take...
No, now, come on. Give me the gun.
I want to believe you. I want to believe
you. Do it. Trust me, Jan. I won't let you down. Come on, give me the gun. Get away from that door. I'm doing the best I can. Who is he?
Now, just stand still, you.
All right.
We did all we could, Joe. This guy got by us. Says Patachek owed him money.
We tried to stop him, Joe.
Yeah.
You the man who was with him?
That's right.
Well, you had no business up there. That's what you get for trying to impede justice.
You want to tell me something? What were you doing pounding on that door?
Patachek owed me money. I heard he was going to jail. I wanted to get it before he left. I had a right to be here. If you'd kept your nose out of this, I'd have gotten it straightened out.
Sure you would have. Patachek's dead.
I know that. I heard the shot. I'm out $200 he owed me. Think I'll ever get it back? I hope you're happy. You just took $200 away from me, didn't you?
Come on, Frank. Sit.
Yeah.
Let's go.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On November 19th, an autopsy was performed in the coroner's office in and for the county of Los Angeles, state of California. In a moment, the results of that autopsy.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Friends, we've been getting letters from people all over the country telling us that they've switched to Chesterfield. And just as I've been telling you, thousands of smokers are changing to Chesterfield because only Chesterfield gives proof of low nicotine, highest quality. That's why I recommend you try them today. Regular or king size, you'll find Chesterfield best for you.
The coroner's autopsy disclosed that the death of Jan Patachek resulted from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. It was officially recorded as a suicide. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Whit Connor, Vic Perrin, Jack Crucian. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Watch an entirely new Dragnet case history each week on your local NBC television station. Please check your newspaper for the day and time. Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Have you tried new cork-tipped Fatima? It's the smooth smoke. Here's why. New Fatima tips of perfect cork. King size for longer filtering. And Fatima quality for a much better flavor and aroma. Remember, Fatima has the tip for your lips. Try new Fatima. See how smooth it is. Fatima is made by the makers of Chesterfield, Liggett & Myers, one of tobacco's most respected names.
Visit with Cousin Willie next on NBC.
Like anyone else, Van Barclay gave little thought to the precarious nature of everyday living. Had he had occasion to probe the fact, he might have acknowledged that danger is always present and that it can strike quite suddenly. Only Van Barkley wasn't thinking about such things. Perhaps he was too restless to care. A young engineer, unmarried, can get restless. Working in a new, strange city, he can get lonesome, too. Van Barkley was one or the other, or both of these things on a Saturday night, that he came out of a movie and went for a stroll along the Santa Monica Palisades in preference to going back to his hotel room. On a corner, he stopped to light a cigarette. That's when he first noticed it. The car was big, a Nash convertible. It cruised by him, came back around the block, moving slow. The third time around, he was standing on the curb, staring openly at the girl behind the wheel. She was very nice. Young, blonde, considerably more than attractive. And she was looking at him just as obvious.
Hello.
Hello.
You opened a door before, no doubt.
In other words, isn't it a beautiful night for a drive?
Well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I said.
You weren't going somewhere important.
No, not at the moment. In fact, I was faced with a rather gloomy prospect of an evening at a hotel alone. And it is a beautiful night for a drive. I suppose it was on the golf course at Biarritz,
What?
where we met.
That's as good a place as any.
Yes, only I've never been there. But I have a good imagination. And then I remember so well those evenings at Monte Carlo when you'd say to me, Van, you must sit beside me at the casino tonight. You bring me luck. You called me Van in those days, remember? Never Mr. Barclay. And I used to call you, what was it I used to call you?
It might have been darling, mightn't it?
Yes, might have been at that. Or maybe the mystery woman, huh? Beautiful, fascinating, and unpredictable. Especially unpredictable.
Oh, that's not very flattering, Mr. Barkley. You might have said, especially beautiful.
Yeah, I might have, and meant it. Okay, you win. You're not only beautiful and fascinating and unpredictable, but you're too fast a worker for me. How come?
How come what?
All this.
You're not happy about taking a drive with me, Mr. Barkley?
I'm delirious. But why me? What have I got?
Well, you're not unattractive, you know.
Yeah, but baby, you never saw me before. How do you know what I'm like?
Perhaps I like to take chances.
Didn't your mother ever warn you about picking up strange men on the street?
My mother was rather unusual, Mr. Barkley. She taught me that when I wanted something, there was only one thing to do. Get out and find it.
Okay, who's kicking? You'll pardon me if I pinch myself. This is something I wouldn't have believed. Sort of like an angel from heaven dropping in your lap.
Oh, I'm no angel, Mr. Barkley. Would you like a drink?
You're driving.
Then come on, we'll go in.
Oh, this is the swankiest roadhouse I ever saw.
Oh, it's not a roadhouse. I live here. Come on.
It's not a bad little place to hang your hat.
Hang it, then. We like it here.
Probably have 2 or 3 scattered around the country.
Oh, no. Just a cabin at Lake Anderson.
Mm-hmm. Well, I gather you're not worrying much about any wolves howling at your door.
Not that kind, anyway.
The guy that owns this place must be a movie producer. Your father?
My father. And he's not a movie producer, just an art collector. Perhaps you'd like to take a look around. We have some very nice paintings scattered all over the house.
You think we can find our way without a guide?
There's no one else here, if that's what you mean. We only have one servant now. This is her night off.
Cozy, isn't it? The whole place to ourselves, all 50 rooms.
Oh, it's not that bad. We'll take a look as soon as we have that drink I promised you.
You feel like pinching yourself, don't you, Ben? This is the kind of thing that just doesn't happen. But it's real. She's real. And she's even more attractive than she looked in the car. And it isn't the cocktails you've had. Finally, she leads you into the library.
Like this room, Ben?
Very much. Always wanted something like this.
The right sort of library is good for a man. I designed this myself.
Mm-hmm.
Even no interior decorating, huh? You're, pretty complete.
Thank you. Van, fix yourself another drink. The decanter is over there. I'll be right back.
Take your time. This is all very pleasant.
You fix another drink, sink into a big leather chair, and relax. When you open your eyes a few minutes later, she's back, smiling down at you.
Hello.
Hello again. Oh, I see your glass is empty. Well, that's easily remedied. I'll pour you another one.
Yeah, this is nice work, if you can get it.
Here you are.
Thank you. Nice perfume you're wearing.
Like it?
I like everything about you.
Good. Then you won't mind doing something for me, will you?
Anything, short of murder.
Walk over here.
To the closet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, open the door. There's something I want you to see.
Okay. I'll play games with you. Hey, I thought you said we were alone.
We are, Mr. Barkley. Because, you see, the gentleman in the closet is quite dead.
It's a great deal more than you bargained for, isn't it, Ben? Yes. When you stepped into the car at the invitation of the beautiful blonde, you didn't realize what kind of a ride was ahead. It was like a dream, wasn't it? Going to her home, having cocktails, and relaxing. And then in the library, you looked into the closet. Fantastic, Dan. Your mind spins, almost unable to cope with the situation, as you stare down at the quiet figure of a dead man on the floor of the closet. You scarcely hear the girl beside you.
You'll help me, won't you?
Huh? What'd you say?
All you have to do is help me hide him permanently.
Now, wait a
There's
minute.
a place out in the garden where some newly turned earth wouldn't be noticed, but I'm not much good at digging graves.
Baby. You can count me out. I don't know how this guy happens to have a hole in his head, and I'm not asking any questions, but just count me out on any part of his
You
deal.
said you'd do anything for me.
Yeah, but I don't go off the deep end for anybody, especially for a girl who's in the habit of keeping dead bodies lying around. No, lady. Pardon me. Well, I'll be seeing.
I think you'd better wait, Mr. Barkley.
Oh. Yeah. See what you mean. I see you're wearing a gun, too.
Uh-huh. And I assure you I know how to use it.
How can I doubt that, with the evidence staring me in the face?
Good. Then if you'll just pick up our late departed friend and come with me, I'll show you the place.
You know that business about your being no angel? I'm just about convinced.
You carry the body downstairs as she demands and go out into the garden.
There's a shovel. Start digging. Like I said, dig it big.
Sounds like a beach near here.
The back of the yard drops off to the beach. But never mind, you've got other things to do. Dig deep and wide.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, baby.
A heavy shovel full of dirt in her face knocks her off her feet. At the same time, you're leaping clear, racing for the drop-off at the back of the property. It's a wild, frightening scramble down through the rock and brush until you hit the beach, running hard. There are no shots, no footsteps. You're away, Van. Free. Far down the beach, you work your way back up to the highway, catch the bus for town in the safety of your hotel room. You're too upset to decide what to do that night. You want to call the police, but the memory of that blonde hair and those pale blue eyes stops you. You want to be sure before doing anything that will send her to the gas chamber. You turn in without deciding. Next morning, when you go downstairs, the desk clerk hands you something.
Good morning, Mr. Barkley.
Morning. What's this?
A young lady left it late last night.
Well, there's nothing written on the envelope.
She just told me to put it in your box.
Oh, well, thanks.
That looks awful green.
Yeah, $100 bill.
And no note, no nothing?
No.
I wish I knew your secret, Mr. Barkley.
You'd like to know that secret yourself, wouldn't you, Van? Now more than ever. $100 to pay for your silence. And probably a chance at more if you live up to the bargain. But there's also a chance to play it smart, isn't there? If you can find out more about this girl, her name, what's behind it all. You catch the bus again, and as you approach the big house, there seems to be quite a few people around. At the gas station on the corner, you find out why.
All set, Mr. Armstrong. Anything else?
That's all, Joe. Thanks.
Hi there. What can I do for you, mister? Run out of gas or something?
No, I was just walking, and I saw there was some kind of excitement around here.
Yeah, more than we've had in a long time. They found a body down on the beach this morning.
Oh? Somebody drowned?
Maybe so, but he got a bullet hole through his forehead first.
Oh, murder, huh?
Yeah, looks that way. Guy named Alfred Hamilton. Lived right up the street.
Over in that house?
Ridgely's? Oh, no. He used to be over there a lot, but he didn't live there.
Well, I noticed that there was a police car out in front.
No, that's part of the excitement. Not only is this friend of the Ridgely's bumped off, but Doris is missing.
Doris?
Yeah, Doris Ridgely. Mr. Ridgely's daughter.
Oh, that's Ridgely, the art collector?
Sure, you know. He's about the richest person in the neighborhood. Nice man, too.
Mm-hmm. And Doris, his daughter. I remember. I've seen her. She's a blonde, isn't she? Good looking?
That isn't the word for that girl. She's a peach. And she's beautiful.
Yes, but rather hard and spoiled.
Doris? No. Why, there isn't a nicer girl in town. And I ought to know. I've been taking care of her car ever since she started to drive. I sure hate to see her mixed up in anything like this. And missing, too. Why, she might be in the ocean herself. Only her car is gone, too.
They think she murdered this guy, Hamilton?
I don't know. But if you ask me, she couldn't have. She's too regular. And if she did, she had a good reason. Hamilton was no good. I never could understand why Doris and old man Ridgely put up with him.
There's just two of them live there, huh?
Yeah, Mrs. Ridgely died a while back. Gosh, I hope they find the girl okay. He'd just about kill the old man if anything happened to her.
Yeah. When was this guy murdered?
Last night. And I can tell you exactly when. 10 minutes to 8 on the nose.
Oh? How can you be sure?
Because I heard the shot. I didn't think anything of it at the time, but I did notice what time it was, because I was just getting ready to close up.
Did you tell the police that?
Sure.
Where did the shot come from?
How should I know? It was just a noise. Maybe from the house over there, maybe from the beach where they found him.
Well, thanks. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Hey, say, who are you anyway?
Nobody important. So long.
As you walk away, you feel sure about one thing. That Doris didn't murder Hamilton at all. She was covering for somebody else, wasn't she, Van? And you've got to find her and bring her back. But where is she? Suddenly it hits you. The cabin she mentioned. Yes, at Anderson Lake. You decide quickly, Van. Next stop, Anderson Lake.
Hello there, young fella. What can I do for you? Got everything here a body needs. Groceries, notions, drugs, fishing, tackle.
Oh, no, I was looking for somebody, Pop. Thought maybe you could give me directions.
Well, I'm the person to come to. Can tell you about anybody in Anderson Lake. And who you looking for?
Doris Ridgely. She's got a cabin up here, hasn't she?
Yep.
Well, how do I get there?
You don't.
Huh? Why not?
Wouldn't do you no good.
Why not?
Nobody there.
But I'm sure Doris is up here, and I've got to find her.
Well, if you got eyes in your head, you wouldn't have to go to no cabin.
Huh?
If you look across the street over there, you'll see her car in front of Jake's Cafe. She's eating inside.
Okay. Thanks, Pop.
She's in Jake's Cafe. And you wait outside until she comes out. As she gets into the convertible, you slip around the other side and open the door.
Hello, baby. It's a nice day for a drive, isn't it?
Mr. Barkley.
Don't reach for your bag. I'll take it instead. I'll take a look inside, too. Yeah, just as I thought, the gun. You still got it. Well, I'll just keep it this time, if you don't mind.
Look, Mr. Barkley...
Now, just a minute. I'll do the talking this time. First, I'll give this back to you. Even if I had a price for this sort of thing, it wouldn't be $100.
It's all I had last night.
I said even if I had a price. I don't. I'll keep my mouth shut until I'm ready to talk. Or you are.
What makes you think I have anything to talk about?
Now, look, I think I know a good kid when I see one. If you're really in trouble, I'm sorry. But I don't think you are. I don't think you killed this heel, Hamilton. I think you're covering up for somebody.
No, I'm not. I killed him. He was threatening me. Threatening to tell something about me, and I killed him.
I don't believe you. All you did was try to get me to help cover up somebody else's work.
No, that's not true.
Okay, so you're not ready to talk yet. Come on, let's go for a drive.
Well...
You know, I'm sorry I had to smother you with that shovel full of dirt last night. But I didn't like the prospect of sharing that hole in the ground with Hamilton.
You mean you thought I'd... Oh, no, I never intended to do that.
Well, how'd you think you'd get away with it then? Just let me walk away to tell the cops?
I don't know.
Okay, baby, keep your chin up. Of course you don't know. You were mixed up in something you knew nothing about. Now, you couldn't have killed this guy, Hamilton, any more than you could have killed me. So, come on. Come clean.
No, I can't.
All right, now, look, whoever this is you're covering up for, they'll be found out eventually. Probably they had a good reason for doing this, from what I hear about Hamilton. But now you've got to get yourself off the spot, and me, too. We're accessories to the murder.
Yes, I know. Look, why are you doing this? Why did you come here?
I'll show you why. Does that answer your question? No talking now. Come on, start driving. We got to have a little talk with the police.
Well, Van, you found her, and she's grateful. You can see that. The way she smiles at you weakly, wonderingly. And perhaps later, when it's all over, you can pick up the dream where it left off. You think about it, you drive back to the city with her. Then as she swings the big convertible into San Vicente Boulevard, she suddenly slams on the brakes beside a police squad car.
Hey, what's the idea, baby? We don't want a squad car. We want to go to police headquarters.
Officer! Arrest this man. He's wanted for murder. And be careful. He's got a gun.
You can't believe it's happening, can you, Van? But it is. And later at police headquarters, your dream is turned into a nightmare as Doris pours out a wild story to the chief of the Homicide Bureau.
Yes, they were both at my house last night. They left together. Then I heard a shot. When I went out looking, I found Mr. Barkley standing over Hamilton's body down on the beach. He'd taken his wallet.
What?
You'll find it in his pocket right now. The officer here already has the murder gun.
Are you kidding? Why, I haven't any wallet. I don't have a...
Easy now. Well, seems you do have a wallet, Mr.
You
Barkley.
see, Sergeant?
Yeah, but she put it there. She slipped it in my pocket while we were driving.
This is Hamilton's wallet, and this is the same caliber gun that killed him, Barkley.
But I tell you, I didn't kill him. It's all a lie.
Oh, hello, Mr. Ridgely. Thanks for coming right over.
That's right, Sergeant. He didn't kill him.
Dad.
It's no use, Doris. I appreciate what you're trying to do, but you can't protect me.
Dad, please don't say anything.
I said it's no use, dear. You can release him, Sergeant. This young man and my daughter. I killed Hamilton. He was no good. I shot and killed him.
The surprises are hitting you like punches from a fighter, aren't they, Van? The attempted frame against you by Doris. And now, out of the blue, her father, facing the police, admitting that he killed Hamilton. You stare from one to the other, wondering and waiting. And then Doris breaks the silence.
But, Dad, you couldn't have killed Hamilton.
Why couldn't he? He just confessed. That's good enough for me.
He confessed to protect me. Dad had no reason.
He could have had the best reason in the world, blackmail. That was Hamilton's racket.
Blackmail?
That's the answer, Doris. Hamilton had been bleeding me for a long time. But a few days ago, I got the evidence to clear myself and expose him.
So you sent for him and told him. He got tough and...
I shot him. I had to. In self-defense.
Oh, look, officer, you found the gun in Hamilton's wallet on this man right here. What more do you want?
I tell you, I never saw this girl in my life until last night.
It's no use, Doris. It happened exactly as I said.
No, Dad, I know you didn't do it.
There's only one way you could know, Miss Ridgely.
Yes, Sergeant. There's only one way I could know.
I tell you, my daughter is lying.
Mr. Ridgely is right, Sergeant.
Oh, hello, Lieutenant. Find anything?
Plenty. His daughter's lying to protect him. We know from the gas station attendant's testimony that the shot that killed Hamilton was fired last night at 10 minutes to 8. We've checked every move of Miss Ridgely's, and at 10 minutes of 8, she was seen buying a pack of cigarettes at the corner drugstore.
Then it was Mr. Ridgely.
Mr. Ridgely left Hamilton in his living room last night somewhere around 7 o'clock. Probably after telling him he was going to expose him to the police. At 10 minutes to 8, Mr. Ridgely was seen having a drink at the Sea House.
So, Barkley, you did take Hamilton's wallet. It was your gun.
I tell you, I never even heard of any of these people.
It wasn't young Romeo here either.
And who?
Alfred Hamilton committed suicide.
Suicide?
That's right. There's no doubt about it. Powder burns on his face. He was left-handed. The angle of the bullet in the left temple shows the wound was self-inflicted. Hand tests prove beyond a doubt that Hamilton fired a shot a few seconds before his death. I guess when he realized Mr. Ridgely was going to expose him to the police, he just couldn't take it. Now, Mr. Ridgely, if you'll come into my office a minute, I'll show you the reports.
Dad, we'll wait in the car.
I'll be along in a minute, Doris.
Well, baby, you gave me a nice ride. A very nice ride.
Oh, honestly, Van, I'm terribly sorry, but I was worried crazy about Dad. Van, do you think we could have that drink again? Sometime, maybe?
Now, look, you're a nice kid. You're beautiful, fascinating, all those things. Especially beautiful. But, baby, if you ever see me walking down the street again, just go on by. Please.
Featured in tonight's story were Jack Webb and Joan Banks. The Whistler was produced and directed by George W. Allen, with story by Hazel Lytle and John Dunkel, music by Wilbur Hatch, and was transmitted to our troops overseas by the Armed Forces Radio Service.
Sound off for Chesterfield. Chesterfield, low in nicotine, highest in quality, best for you. Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to forgery detail. For the past 6 years, a forger has been working in your city. The victims describe the suspect as a woman. Her M.O. is simple, but it continues to work. Your job, stop her. Smokers by the thousands are now changing to Chesterfield. No wonder. More and more smokers are learning this fact for themselves. Chesterfield, low in nicotine, highest in quality. A published fact proved by chemical analyses of the country's 6 leading cigarette brands. Chesterfield, the only cigarette ever with a record like this. Regular or king size, Chesterfield is best for you.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Friday, September 18th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of forgery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Welch. My name's Friday. We were on our way out from the office, and it was 10:42 a.m. when we got to the 9th floor of the Beckworth department store, the credit manager's office.
Yes?
We'd like to see Mr. Donaldson, please.
May I say who's calling?
Sergeant Friday, Los Angeles Police Department.
Oh, yes, he's expecting you. Just a moment.
Thank you.
Yes?
The gentlemen from the police department are here, Mr. Donaldson.
Send them in, please.
Yes, sir. You want to go right in? That's the door.
Thank you very much.
Come on in, gentlemen.
Thank you. Mr. Donaldson?
Yes?
I'm Sergeant Friday. This is my partner, Frank Smith.
How do you do?
How you do, sir?
Sit down.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, do you want to tell us what this is all about?
Well, it's the little mother again. I've got the receipts here on the desk. Is Sergeant Ferguson still working on this case?
Yes, sir.
I talked to him the last time we were stuck.
Usual type of things charged?
Yes, children's shoes, dresses, sweaters, same as always.
I see. Now, I wonder if I could have those slips, Mr. Donaldson.
Sure. Here you are.
Thank you.
All made out the same day.
Mm-hmm. August 22nd.
Yes. Our experience is that she usually comes in on a Saturday. Seems that the store is more crowded then, and the girls don't take any more time to verify the accounts than they have to.
Can I see those, Joe?
Yeah, here you are.
Thanks.
Wonder if we could talk to the sales girl who waited on her.
Sure. I'll have her sent up.
Fine.
Yes, sir.
Miss Firestone, would you please have Mrs. Allen sent up?
Yes, sir.
I notice here the only items you charge not for children is a woman's slip.
Yes, we've had a couple of them in the past, pieces of women's clothing. I talked to Sergeant Ferguson about it when he was here.
Mm-hmm. Did you get the bulletin we sent out this month?
Beg pardon?
The bulletin, giving the woman's description, samples of her handwriting. Did you get it?
Yes, sir, we did. You've got to understand, Sergeant. This is one of the biggest stores in the city. We do a lot of business. It'll be almost impossible to alert all of the sales girls to watch for the woman.
Yes, sir, we understand that. But was the description sent to the children's department?
It was. It didn't do any good, though. If the woman charged large amounts, it might be easier. But look at the sales slips yourself.
Mm-hmm.
$4 shoes, $3 dresses. Nothing to make a charge like that stand out. We make sure that there's an account in the name and then let it go.
Don't you use the charge and plate system?
Yes, we do. But if a customer wants to charge an item and hasn't got the plate, we usually just verify the account and let them sign the sales slip.
Well, how about identification?
Well, normally we do ask for it. But as I said, these sales are such small amounts, and the woman comes in when the store is crowded. The girls just call the credit department and let her sign the receipt.
I see.
Oh, excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Mrs. Allen's here.
Oh, all right. Just a moment.
Yes, sir.
The woman who waited on her is out in the office. Do you want to talk to her in here?
Well, we don't want to take up any more of your time, sir. We can see her out there.
All right. If there's anything else you need, I'll be here.
Yes, sir.
Oh, officer.
Yes, sir.
You know, I feel a little funny about this thing.
Why is that, sir?
Well, the things she's charged. What's that? The things she's taken, they're almost all kids' clothes. Doesn't seem to be interested in anything else. Total amounts of the articles she's taken don't add up to much. It's the principle of the thing more than the value. It just seems that the only thing she's interested in is the children. It feels a little funny to call the police about a person like that.
Yes, sir, we understand.
We've got a lot of this going on, but the others, they take things for themselves, luxuries, expensive items. But she doesn't, just for the kids. She doesn't seem to be at all interested in herself.
Well, we are.
Yes, well, I suppose so. Well, I'll be here if you need anything more.
Thank you, Mr. Donaldson. Thanks very much. We'll be in touch with you.
You'll bring the sales slips back, won't you?
Yes, sir, as soon as we've had the chance to photograph them.
Well, I hope you can do something about it.
Yes, sir, so do we. Thank you very much.
Anything you need, you let me know.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Just a moment. Mrs. Allen? Yes? These are the police officers.
How you doing, ma'am? I'm Sergeant Friday. This is my partner, Frank Smith.
Hello.
How do you do, Miss Allen? You want to sit down over here, please?
Yes, all right. I feel just terrible about this.
Ma'am?
All this forgery thing.
Now, you waited on the woman, did you?
Yes, at least in the little girl's department.
Uh-huh. What if you could describe her for us?
Well, she was a little woman. I'd say a 10.
How's that again, ma'am?
A size 10.
Oh.
5'1", about 105 pounds. Cute as a button.
Mm-hmm. Did she have the children with her?
No, she didn't. I thought it was a little funny at the time, but as I say, we were so busy with the school rush that afternoon that none of us girls had a chance to really think about anything.
Yes, ma'am. What color hair did she have?
Kind of sandy color. Guess you'd call it a blonde. Wore it up in a bun. Back here,
Yes, ma'am.
The other girls noticed it. Long. Looked nice. Different than all the other short haircuts. Kind of old-fashioned and homey.
Yes, ma'am. How was she dressed?
Not very well. A little blue hat, dark coat, cloth coat. Collar came up like this, Slash pockets. Nice, but not expensive.
I say, ma'am, now would you know her if you saw her again?
Oh, my, yes, sure would.
Well, we'd like you to come over to our office and look at some pictures, if you would.
All right. I'll have to talk to the floor manager.
We'll take care of that, Mrs. Allen.
All right. Do you think that you might have a picture of her?
We don't know.
I kind of hope not.
Ma'am?
I hope you don't have a picture. I guess it's a little sinful to even think of it, but she had a reason for what she did. I'm sure of it.
Why do you say that, Mrs. Allen?
Officer, I've been selling for a long time. I met a lot of people in that time. Nice ones and nasty ones. And believe me, this is one of the sweetest people I've ever served.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that you call her the Little Mother. Is that right?
Well, we don't, ma'am. That's what the newspapers call her.
Well, it fits her to a T. Right to a T. Where she bustled around those dresses, looking, testing. She was just like a mother hen trying to find something for her brood. Little doll, cute as a button. She just got to have a reason for what she's doing.
Sergeant Friday?
Yes, Mr. Donaldson?
I'm glad I caught you. I think we've got it.
Sir?
The Little Mother is downstairs now.
last 6 years, the same woman had been operating in the downtown department stores. During that period, she'd forged a total of $1,300 worth of merchandise that we knew of. Because of her M.O., there was no way of telling how much more had gone undetected. The operation was a simple one. She'd enter a store, go to one of the departments. There she'd pick up articles of apparel, mostly for children, and then ask to charge them. She'd explain that she'd forgotten her charge plate, and after the account had been verified, she'd sign the charge slip. These slips would be put in the mail to the people who maintained the account, and it wouldn't be until they noticed a discrepancy that we'd be notified. Usually a month would pass between the time the clothing was taken and we were told of it. In the 6 years that the Little Mother, as the newspapers had dubbed her, had been operating, almost every team of detectives in the forgery detail had worked on the case. Statements from salesgirls who'd waited on her were taken. Photostats of the sales slips were made. Witnesses were interrogated, and then when the sum total of actual physical evidence was weighed and sifted, there was no lead to the identity of the forger. The police department had gotten out printed bulletins and copies of composite drawings of the suspect, and these had been distributed to all department stores in the area. But because of the suspect's appearance and the way she operated, none of the victims became suspicious in time to notify us. The Department Stores Protective League was working with us, but they met with the same dead ends that we'd found. Meanwhile, the evidence continued to pile up. The operation continued to work. When the manager of Beckworth's department store told us that the suspect was in the store, Frank and I were able to come up with the first concrete lead we'd had since we'd been working on the case. In the company of the manager and the saleswoman, Mrs. Myra Allen, Frank and I went down to the boys' department where the suspect was reported to be.
Down this way.
Yes, sir.
The girl said she was over by boys' suits. I hope they were able to hold her.
Mm-hmm.
Just a minute.
Yes, sir.
I know I don't have to tell you, gentlemen, about the store's liability in a situation like this.
No, sir.
Now, I'm sure it's her, but it could be very embarrassing and expensive for the store if we made a mistake.
All right, sir, we understand.
Good. Over here.
All right.
Mr. Donaldson? Mr. Donaldson?
Yes, Miss Franklin. Where is she?
It's not my fault. You've got to believe that.
What's the matter, miss?
Don't tell me you stopped the wrong person. You caused trouble with an innocent party and she could sue the store.
I'm sorry, Mr. Donaldson.
Where's the woman, miss?
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yes, ma'am?
She wouldn't wait.
A quick search of the immediate vicinity in the store failed to turn up the suspect. The department store security staff was notified and a watch was put on all of the doors. The credit department was notified, and they took action. We checked with the elevator operators. We found one that told us she'd seen a woman who answered the description get in her car. She explained that the woman seemed to be in a hurry and had left the elevator as soon as it had reached the main floor. A further check of the store netted us nothing. The suspect had escaped. In the downtown crowds, it would have been almost impossible to try to find her on the streets. However, an additional broadcast carrying a complete description of the clothing she was wearing was gotten out to all cars in the area. The first good chance we'd had for apprehending her was gone. We had to go back to the legwork and the waiting. 3 months passed. During that time, Frank and I cleaned up a series of counterfeit payroll check cashings. Another 30 days went by without activity for the Little Mother. There were 4 new sales slips added to the file, but when the leads resulting from these were checked out, we were no closer to her than we'd been 6 years before. Thursday, December 17th, 12:55 p.m. I checked into the office.
Joe, that you?
Yeah. What do you got?
Oh, just talked to Skipper.
Yeah?
Got a couple of more beefs about the Little Mother.
When did they come in?
This morning.
Where are they?
Don Myers got him. He's checking the handwriting.
Well, how about the names she used?
Wait a minute. I got them here in my book. There they are. Mrs. Norris Farrow, Mrs. James Slagle, I guess it is, and Mrs. Ross Neiman. I called the stores and got the information on these people.
Did you talk to them?
Yeah. Asked all the routine stuff. None of them can think of any friends who matched the description.
How about the things she charged? Anything there?
No. Usual items. Let's see. A pair of Levi's for kids. One child's cotton dress. There is one thing different.
What's that?
Well, I checked the sizes of the clothes. The last bunch of sales slips we had, the dresses were for a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
This time she bought them for a 12-year-old. Kids are getting bigger, Joe.
You know, that's a big help. All we got to do is look for a couple of kids that are growing.
Well, I was just trying to help, Joe.
No, I mean, it just doesn't seem to be anywhere to go. All the time we've put in, all the people we've talked to, all we got for it is a file drawer all to ourselves on the thing. I get it. Forgery Friday. Who? Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. I remember. Where is she now? I see. Yeah, we can be right over. Yes, ma'am. Bye. Bye. Oh, we got it.
What do you mean?
That was Mrs. Allen. Remember the sales lady over at Beckworth's?
Oh, yeah, I think I do. What'd she have to say?
Told me she's having lunch in a restaurant at the corner of Jackson on Hill.
Yeah?
Our suspect's sitting next to her. 1:02 p.m. We checked out of the office and drove over to the restaurant. It was located at the rear of a large drugstore. When we came into the place, Mrs. Allen met us at the entrance. She took us back down the counter and pointed out a small woman sitting on the last stool.
That's her.
You sure, ma'am?
I'm positive. That's her.
All right, let's go.
Yes.
You want to wait here, Miss Allen?
Certainly.
Something you gentlemen want?
We're police officers, ma'am. We'd like to talk to you.
Police?
Yes, ma'am. You want to step over there to talk? Might be better.
Well, if you want to say anything to me, you can say it right here. I haven't done anything wrong.
What if we could see your identification?
Why?
Your identification, ma'am. Could we see it?
All right, just a minute. I've got my purse. Getting terrible. I don't know what you officers are trying to find out, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you can't prove you've got a reason for making me do this, you're in trouble.
We're not making you do anything, ma'am. We don't want to cause you any embarrassment.
A funny way of showing it. I want to tell you that my husband knows people in this town. When he hears about this... Oh, here you are. Here's my driver's license.
Would you take it out of your wallet, please?
Here.
Mrs. Evelyn Nelson?
That's who I am.
Is this your present address?
No, it isn't. We moved a few months ago, but I haven't had a chance to have it changed. Is that all you want?
No, Ms. Nelson, it isn't. I wonder if we could talk to you in our office.
Why? I always thought you had to arrest people before you could order them around.
We're asking you to come over to City Hall with us, if you will, ma'am. There are a few things we'd like to check out.
What things?
Wonder if I could see what you've got in the bags here.
What are you looking for?
Do you mind if we took a look?
Well, there's just some clothes for my children. Nothing in there to interest you.
Well, then it wouldn't hurt if we looked, would it?
Go ahead. You won't find anything.
You want to take a couple of these, Frank?
Yeah, I got it.
Well, what about it? Did you find anything wrong? Maybe a gun?
No, ma'am, but I wonder if you could explain this.
What's that?
This charge slip here, signed by Mrs. Ross Neiman.
Well, certainly that was probably in the bag when I bought the things. I don't know anything about it.
All right, Miss Nelson. Afraid we're going to have to ask you to come with us.
On what charge?
Suspicion of forgery.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action. At cigarette dealers, in vending machines, at supermarkets and stores coast to coast.
Chesterfield, please.
Smokers by the thousands. Yes, smokers by the thousands are now changing to Chesterfield, the only cigarette ever to give you
one, proof of low nicotine, highest quality. Chemical analyses of the country's 6 leading brands confirm that.
2, the only cigarette ever to give you this proven record with smokers. Again and again, over a full year and one half, a group of Chesterfield smokers have been given thorough medical examinations. The doctor's reports are a matter of record.
No adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfield.
A responsible independent research laboratory supervises this continuing program. Chesterfield, the only cigarette ever with a record like this. Chesterfield, best for you.
We returned the suspect to the city hall for questioning. While Frank checked her name through the files, I tried to get her to talk. For 20 minutes, her attitude was one of surprise, and she answered the questions I put to her with indignance. Finally, she lapsed into silence and wouldn't reply at all to further interrogation. Frank came back from R&I with the information that there was no arrest record for Mrs. Nelson. We put out calls to the sales girls who had waited on the little mother in the past and asked them to come down to the office to see if they could identify the suspect.
Yes, ma'am. Room 29. Yeah, come right in the first street entrance, turn left into the police department. That's right, ma'am. There's an arch there. Go right through it. Straight down the hall to the right. Well, it's the only way you can go. It's on the left as you go down the hall. That's right, 29. If you'll ask for Sergeant Friday or Officer Smith. No, ma'am, Smith. That's all right, ma'am. We'll expect you. Goodbye. I'll call the next one.
Yeah. You know, you'd save yourself and us a lot of trouble if you'd tell us the truth, Mrs. Nelson. Mrs. Nelson?
Hello, may I speak with Miss Brundage, please? In children's wear? Yes, ma'am, I will.
Hang up the phone.
Beg your pardon?
You don't have to go through this anymore.
All right, ma'am. want to tell us about? Ms. Nelson?
I only did it for them, the kids. I didn't want to. How do you think I felt when I knew I was stealing? How do you think I felt?
You want to go ahead?
My husband, Paul's a good man. What he's done, he thinks is right. I can't quarrel with him. But he doesn't know. He doesn't understand. It isn't that he doesn't love the kids. He does. He really does. It's just that he doesn't understand. You can see that, can't you? He doesn't understand about them. Do either of you have a handkerchief? I came away this morning without one.
Yes, ma'am. Here you are.
Thanks.
You want to go ahead, please?
All his life he's worked. Put in long hours without a thought of what he was doing to himself. Every nickel he made was put away so he'd be able to feel secure, so he wouldn't have to worry about anything. It was all right when we first got married. I could understand it then. I went along with what he thought. But the last few years, it's gotten to be an obsession with him. The almighty dollar, that's all that seems important to him.
Now, what kind of work does your husband do, Mrs. Nelson?
He owns a grocery store. Small place, but it does good, makes a good living. Only we aren't living, we're existing. He gives me $10 a week to run the house and buy clothes for the kids. I've tried, Lord knows I've tried, budget meals, cheap cuts of meat, day-old bread. Any way you spend it, no matter how you figure, $10 just doesn't go very far.
Now, Mrs. Nelson, didn't you talk to your husband about it? Didn't you ask him for additional money for the expenses?
Yes, I'd ask him, and he'd tell me that I had to make do all the time, make do just a little longer until he had the money in the bank. Then we'd be all right. Only the more it went on, the worse it got. It didn't seem to make any difference how much money we had. How the total in the passbook went up. He wasn't satisfied. Had to be a little more, a little more. I guess I'm feeling sorry for myself, but you see, he could afford to buy the kids decent clothes. At least that. You agree with me, don't you?
Well, that's hard to say, ma'am.
Not for me. I'll never forget the day when my boy came home crying. He'd been fighting. One of the other boys at school had said something about the patches on his clothes. Just a little kid, that's all he was, ridiculed by his friends. That's when I made up my mind to do something about it.
Does your husband know anything about your activities?
No, nothing.
How'd you explain the new clothes for the youngster to him?
I didn't have to. Last year he's been working so hard at the store I hardly ever see him. The kids don't hardly know him. He even spends Sunday at the store dressing the windows.
You mean he spends all his time there?
Every minute he's not asleep. He let one clerk he had go so he could save the money. Always save the money. It doesn't make any difference who gets hurt. Get that dollar and put it away. That's what counts. Put the dollar away. You know something, officer?
What's that, Miss Nelson?
I haven't been able to sit down and talk to my husband for 6 weeks. 6 weeks. He gets home at 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. He's up and gone at 6:30. Kids are always asking when Daddy's coming home. How do you answer him? How do you make him understand? I can't. I've tried the only way I know how. And I did it so wrong.
All right, Miss Nelson. We'll try to work it out.
Can I use your phone? I've got to tell the children what to do about dinner.
I'll call for you if you like, ma'am. What's the number?
Hollywood 98844.
Where's your husband now, Miss Nelson?
At the store, I guess. You're going to call him?
I think we should, ma'am. Let him know what's happened.
I guess so. Somebody's got to take care
Hello,
of
I'm
kids.
calling for Mrs. Nelson. I wonder if I could speak to her son. This is Sergeant Friday, Los Angeles Police Department. Who? Yes, no, she's down here now. Room 29. All right, fine.
Was that my boy? I wanted to talk to him.
No, ma'am, that was your husband. He's on his way down here. 2:14 p.m., Paul Nelson walked into the office. Frank and I took him and his wife to the interrogation room. She'd asked us while we waited for him if we'd let her talk to him for a few minutes alone. We stayed out in the hall, and after a brief wait, Paul Nelson opened the door and asked us to come into the room. His wife had evidently told him the full story because he was visibly shaken. He walked over to his wife and sat down beside her.
Well, I guess I've really done it, haven't I?
What do you mean, sir?
I've really ruined everything. My home, my kids, everything. All the time it was happening, I never knew it, never had an idea.
Don't blame yourself too much, Paul.
But I should have known. I should have seen it myself. Even when you tried to tell me, I was too busy to see it, too wrapped up with the business.
It wasn't for me, Paul. It was for the children.
It doesn't make any difference who it was for. I'm the one who caused it. I'm the one. It's my fault. I'm sorry, Evelyn. How can I ever make it up to you?
Don't think about that now, Paul. It won't do any good. What's been done can't be changed.
How about it, officer?
Sir?
What happens now?
Well, your wife's going to be given a preliminary hearing. She'll have the chance to plead guilty. If she does, the court will decide what to do.
What's the punishment for what she's done?
Well, according to Section 473 of the Penal Code, it's imprisonment in the state penitentiary for 1 to 14 years or for not more than a year in the county jail.
Is there any way out of it?
What do you mean?
Any way of getting Evelyn out of it? If I went to the judge and told him why she did it, if I told him it was my fault, would that make a difference?
I don't know. That'd be up to the court.
But I could try.
Yes, sir.
If I paid the money back for all the things she's taken, I can afford it. I could go to the stores and pay them. Maybe they'd feel different then, huh? I could make it up to them. Everything would be all right.
Well, it's been going on for 6 years, you know.
But if I did pay the stores back, it'd make it up to them, wouldn't it?
Maybe, but how about your wife?
What?
How are you going to make it up to her? 4:30 p.m. The suspect was released on a writ. The next afternoon, Frank and I met with Mr. and Mrs. Nelson and their attorney. We talked over the case. It seemed that the husband's change of heart was permanent. He swore that he'd never give his wife cause for unhappiness again. 2 weeks later, in Department 89 of the Superior Court, Mrs. Nelson entered a plea of guilty to 14 counts of forgery. When the court reviewed the circumstances and was informed that Mr. Nelson intended to make full restitution, the probation board recommended that Mrs. Nelson be placed on probation for 3 years. After the hearing, Frank and I had a brief talk with the couple. They thanked us for our consideration and understanding. Apparently, the cause of trouble between the Nelsons had been erased. Another 2 weeks went by. January 22nd, Frank and I got back from lunch and we checked into the office.
Here they are, dear.
Mr. Friday, Mr. Smith?
Ms. Nelson, Mr. Nelson, how are you?
Just fine, Sergeant. How are you two?
Fine, thank you very much, ma'am. What can we do for you?
That's what we want to do for you.
Sir?
You got the boxes, honey?
Yeah, here they are.
It's not much, but we thought that you'd like them. Made them ourselves. To say thanks.
Look at that, Joe. Mm-hmm. That's not necessary, ma'am. You didn't have to do that.
No, we wanted to. Toll House cookies. Eve made a box for each of you. Real good. Lots of chocolate.
Well, that's very nice of you.
We just hope you'll enjoy them.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sure we will.
Yes, ma'am.
How are things going with you?
Oh, just fine. Paul and I have gotten everything straightened out. I help him out at the store now. That way he's got more time to spend with the kids. Things just couldn't be much better.
Well, we're glad to hear that.
It's a funny thing to say, Mr. Friday, but it's true. The best thing that ever happened to us.
What's that, Ms. Nelson?
My getting arrested.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On January 8th, a meeting was held in the county probationer's office in the County of Los Angeles, state of California. In a moment, the results of that meeting.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Friends, we've been getting letters from people all over the country telling us that they've switched to Chesterfield. Just as I've been telling you, thousands of smokers are changing to Chesterfield because only Chesterfield gives proof of low nicotine, highest quality. That's why I recommend you try them today. Regular or king size, you'll find Chesterfield best for you.
At the end of 3 years, Mrs. Evelyn Margaret Nelson had fulfilled the requirements of her probation, and the case was officially marked closed. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Frazier. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Vic Rodman, Joyce McCluskey. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Watch an entirely new Dragnet case history each week on your local NBC television station. Please check your newspaper for the day and time.
Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Have you tried new cork-tipped Fatima? It's the smooth smoke. Here's why. New Fatima tips of perfect cork, king size for longer filtering, and Fatima quality for a much better flavor and aroma. Remember, Fatima has the tip for your lips. Try new Fatima. See how smooth it is. Fatima is made by the makers of Chesterfield, Liggett & Myers, one of tobacco's most respected names.
This is the NBC Radio Network.
Novak, for hire.
Sure, I'm Pat Novak. For hire. That's what the sign out in front of my office says. Pat Novak for hire. It's an easy way to put it, because if you're going to make a living down on the waterfront in San Francisco, you got to do everything but run for office. I rent boats and kick around a few scruples if the price is right. It's a living, and if anything goes wrong, you can always get your mother a visitor's pass. If you do get in trouble, you go first class all the way. I found that out when I first met Doreen Wilde. It was almost dark, and I was sitting in the office with the door open when she first showed up. Showed up's the right word. The wind was blowing outside and pushed her dress tightly against her legs as she walked in. She was young. From what I could see, she made Cleopatra look like Apple Mary. She had a voice like a bowl of warm stew.
Hello. Are you Mr. Novak?
That's my story.
I'm Doreen Wilde. Mind if I sit down? On your desk here?
You'll block the view.
You'll get used to the new one. There. Now lean back and let me look at you. I want to hire you, Mr. Novak.
After the look or before?
You've got a power complex, darling. You know a man named Joe Candono?
Oh, he's a gambler out on Geary Street. Friend of yours?
I don't dislike him that much. We have business connections. That's why I want to hire you. To give him some money tonight.
A needy case or a bad debt?
A bad debt. Candono has an IOU from my brother for $10,000. You can go from there.
Not if I'm supposed to say it was a fixed game. Candono's been around a long time.
Yes?
That's right. There are only two kinds of gamblers in this town, honest ones and dead ones. So if your brother owes $10,000, he better pay.
That's why I'm hiring you. Just pay off Candono and make sure you get the pictures.
Pictures of the Grand Canyon, huh?
We'll talk about my past some other time.
Well, for the moment, we'll just say you're photogenic.
That's right.
Your brother can't get the $10,000, so Candono's shaking you down.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll bet you make a nice rattle. How did Candono get the pictures?
My brother gave them to him.
You got a charming brother.
You see only his better side. Will you do the job for $100?
How long's it going to take?
2 hours, maybe. You'll have to meet with my brother.
To meet with your brother, $100 is coolie wages.
He'll give you the information, then you can see Candono.
Where do I meet your brother?
Room 729, the Dixie Hotel. He'll be there about 8:30.
That packing crate down on Powell Street? Your brother's a cutie. I know winos that wouldn't go in there.
We'll meet you there at 8:30.
Oh? You going to be there?
Yes. Do you mind?
I can stand it.
Do you carry a spare battery for that gleam in your eye?
Your $100 covers that, too. See you at 8:30. She smiled at me, and I felt like a guy that just found an oil well in the basement. Well, there were a lot of things about the deal I didn't like, but she kind of made you forget. I kept remembering her as she walked out of there with a slow, easy gait. She had knee action that'd make a Nash jealous. Well, I hit the Dixie Hotel about 8:25. It was the kind of a hotel that has a 4 a.m. checkout rule. There were 2 or 3 guys sitting around reading tip sheets, and over in the corner, a couple of well-upholstered gals were talking about recipes, I guess. The desk clerk was the worst of the lot. He looked like a guy that might have been expelled from Alcatraz. Nobody looked up as I walked through. When I got to 729, I knocked. There was no answer, so I opened the door and walked in. There was a bed lamp on and a lot of smoke in the room. Through the smoke, I could pick out the committee. They were crazy about me.
Come on in. Looking for someone?
Yeah, but she's got a better figure than you.
Close the door.
No, she's not here. I'll just run along.
Close the door, mister.
You need the ventilation.
I said close the door. Now sit down. Sit down on the bed there.
You're a tough host.
So I'm broken-hearted. Just be a good boy now and give it to me, huh?
You got the wrong guy.
You give it to me fast, mister.
I don't know what you're talking about. I came up here to meet somebody.
Already met him.
I've run across better people in sewers. Now, look, meathead, I'm only going to say this once more, so make a copy. You got the wrong guy. You think I got something? I haven't got it.
No?
No, so you and your playmates swing out of here in your tails. I never saw you until 3 minutes ago, and I'm tired of the friendship already.
All right. Eddie.
Yeah?
Go through this guy's coat.
Yeah, sure.
Now, wash your hands, Junior, and then put them in your own pockets.
Oh. You got a favorite profile, fella? Because I'm going to put this gun on one side. Take your choice. Grab him, hold him up. All right, Eddie. Now you don't have to wash your hands.
I woke up with a head the size of Rhode Island. I rolled over and tried to get up, but I was about as strong as a moth in a wind tunnel. The room was dark, and I couldn't see very well. There was a stale, musty odor. Could have been a marathon dancer's dressing room. With a little fixing up, the sort of place you wouldn't be found dead in. There was a guy lying next to me who didn't feel that way about it. One look at the guy, and I could see he was dead from the crew cut down. Somebody wrapped a towel around his throat and forgot to say when. I should have got out of there right then, but I used my brain like a bottle of medicine, a small dose every 3 hours. I stood there, looking down at him, and felt like a guy that's just rolled a 7 the second time out. A small chunk of light squeezed through the door, and I could see particles of dust settling on his face. He was lying there, straight and white-faced, with a little bit of scowl, as if he didn't like the idea. I went through his wallet and found a few bucks and some identification. Enough to prove he was Frank Wilde, Doreen's brother. Oh, it looked nice and clear. They'd done everything but pin the IOU on his shirt. Well, I couldn't wait around because when Homicide got there, I was going to be as popular as a can of salmon on Friday. Homicide meant Inspector Hellman, a guy that couldn't even make the Vice Squad. We were as close as a piccolo and a bass trombone. I got to thinking about him and decided to get out of there. It was a good idea 5 minutes ago.
Hello, Novak.
Oh, Hellman.
Small wake, huh?
Just a few close friends. You always drop by room 729 this time of night?
I got a bad memory for faces. Who's your friend?
His name's Frank Wilde.
That's one answer.
I was supposed to meet him here at 8:30.
That's another. You got a third? Who killed him?
I don't know, Hellman. Maybe 3 or 4 people. Maybe a pack of lugs from Joe Candono's.
Yeah? I think you're modest, Novak. I think maybe you killed him.
Oh, yeah, sure. I wrapped the towel around his neck, beat myself to death with a pistol, and jumped into the same grave.
Maybe.
Oh, stop it, Hellman. That isn't smart.
That still leaves you in the running.
I came up here to make $100. That's all I know about it. Check down at the desk. They'll tell you.
I checked on the way up. The desk clerk says room 729 is in your name.
Get your dough back, Hellman. You've been hijacked.
Yeah?
Look up a gal named Doreen Wilde.
Who's she?
The stiff's sister. He got in a jam with Joe Candono and bailed himself out with some pictures.
Oh. What kind of pictures?
You just look her up and find out where she was at 9 o'clock tonight.
I got a bird in the hand.
And call on Joe Candono. His Gunsel's held a convention here tonight.
That's too much legwork. You're handy, Novak.
I can't afford a bum rap, Hellman. Get yourself another boy.
You get me one. It's your hotel room, there's a dead guy in it, and you got a bad record. I can make that add up for the DA.
You can't add a pair of zeros without crib notes, Hellman.
I can try hard, and I'll be all through in 24 hours. That's how long you got, Novak. You got one day, and you're not going to be lonesome. Because I'm going to put a tail on you the whole time.
Well, that'll be fun.
I'm going to know where you are every minute.
Stop posing, will you? You couldn't follow an elephant across a basketball court.
Just stay handy, Novak. I'll be ready. I'm going to fingerprint this room and run that towel through a test. And then I'll be ready.
Yeah, you better watch out for that towel.
Huh?
Remember, when it comes to towels, Hellman, you have to start from scratch. Well, when I left, Hellman was smiling like an Academy Award winner. I didn't blame him, because from my side of the road, things looked rough. From here in, he could play a pat hand and come out all right. There were only two other people, Joe Candono and that girl. I was real worried, so I looked up the only honest guy I know, an ex-doctor and a boozer by the name of Jocko Madigan. He was all right for a guy who tries to drink all the whiskey in the world every night, only some night he's going to make it. I finally found him at the Bellevue Hotel, holed up in the hunt room. He was getting the most he could out of a bottle, old whiskey and young ideas. It was 10 o'clock, and he was carrying a bigger load than the Berlin airlift.
Oh-ho! A drink for Mr. Novak. And one for me. I'll have to catch up.
Skip me. You busy, Jocko?
I'm deep in the labor of love. What happened to your face?
I got a better offer. I'm in a jam, Jocko. You got to help me.
You're always in a jam. You're the eternal patsy. Also, you're my solitary reason for going on.
Forget it, Jocko.
Well, you're the last project Providence has allowed me. An hors d'oeuvre that fate has thrown me to nibble on. I'm your conscience, you know.
Yeah, all right, all right.
You have no conscience of your own. Oh, you have fleeting moments of fright which you confuse as moral sense, but no conscience.
All right, let's get off the platform, shall we? I need help, quick.
What kind of jam? A big one?
Yeah. I woke up about an hour ago holding hands with a dead man.
Where?
Room 729 at the Dixie Hotel.
I hope you changed rooms.
Hellman walked in and found me praying for the dead. He's got an idea I did it.
A shrewd policeman.
That was the second feature. We opened with a pistol whipping by Joe Candono's Gunsels. Oh, you got to help me.
Would a drink help?
Hellman's got a guy tailing me. I got to go slow, Jocko. I want you to hit Candono's place and pick up every scrap of dope, will you?
I'd look out of place in a gambling joint.
There's a bar. Tour the joint and find out when the boys got back, huh?
Where do you plan to be? Hiding under a rose bush?
I'm going up to see a girl. She's the dead guy's sister.
Are you going up to extend sympathy?
She's mixed up, too. Candono's holding some blackmail pictures.
Let's reverse the assignment.
Now, look, you see Candono. I'll tag by Doreen Wilde's place.
Huh? She must be Harry Wilde's daughter.
Who's he?
The money crowd, to use a low term.
What's he like?
A retired octopus. After he got sick of chasing cigarette girls, he settled down to be a social worker.
Yeah?
Now he's like all social workers. A guy who's embarrassed because he wasn't born poor. And for years, he's been annoying the poor by trying to help them.
Hit Candono's place. Now, if you hit anything good, phone me at her apartment. And keep out of trouble.
Well, I'd say the same to you if it weren't futile. Good night, lover.
When I walked out, Geary Street was cold and deserted. The fog had moved in and staked out a claim all the way down to Market Street. There were two Marines across the street arguing, so I didn't hear it at first. When I got out of range, I began to hear the footsteps behind me. I stopped once, and the footsteps broke off. I walked on a few yards, and the footsteps were right behind me. They had a familiar ring, and I was sure it was either Hellman or a water buffalo. When I stopped and waited, Hellman walked up.
You're out late, Novak.
What happened to that tail? He asked for more dough?
I put our best man on it. Where are you going?
Well, now I'll bet you get some real good answers on that question.
Where you going, smart boy?
Doreen Wilde's apartment.
Yeah, why?
To find out where she was at 9 o'clock tonight?
It won't do you any good.
Why?
Coroner's report. The guy got knocked off about 7 o'clock tonight.
Well, he took a long time dying.
That towel was a joke. If he wasn't strangled, he would have been red-faced. He wasn't.
Oh, well, now let me guess, Hellman. He died of lingering malaria.
Yeah, he was poisoned. That means he was dead when you brought him in.
Oh, that changes things, doesn't it?
A little. Don't let me keep you, Novak. I'm busy anyway.
Yeah?
Yeah. Checking your alibi for 7 o'clock.
I had no alibi for 7 o'clock. That was right after the girl left my office. Oh, I might be able to dig up a witness, but I wasn't sure. It's like asking a horse if he's going to win the Derby. Well, the questions were piling up, so I dropped by Doreen Wilde's apartment. I began to wonder. It was right next door to Candono's place. When she opened the door, I found out what the right kind of breakfast food will do. She was wearing a slack suit without much slack, and she was swaying slightly in a warm, slow way. Well, if there was any rhythm there, it's the kind you hear 1,000 miles down the Amazon. And when she said hello, you knew it was all chemistry.
Hello, Mr. Novak.
I missed you at room 729.
This'll do just as well. Come in.
Yeah.
You're wearing your face a different style.
Yeah, Candono's boys didn't like it the old way.
I like it. I like it very much.
Yeah, what happened to you tonight?
Frank was supposed to pick me up. He didn't come by.
I see. Your brother finally showed up at the hotel.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. He paid off that IOU.
Is that a quaint way of telling me he's dead?
I suppose. Oh, don't sob so loud. You'll wake the neighbors.
You know by this time that to me Frank was a poor excuse at best. Nothing more. Besides, I knew he was dead. Father's down there now identifying the body.
Just for the record, who has those pictures now?
Candono, I suppose?
His boys piled me tonight looking for something. I got the idea it wasn't my Social Security number.
Oh, you've had a busy evening.
Yeah, they're going to book me for Frank's murder. Just call me Patsy.
You need a drink then, darling?
It can wait. Now, look, you're going to save some time if you tell me right now.
No, I didn't kill Frank. I'd be willing to contribute to a shrine for the man who did.
How about Candono?
I don't know. In fact, I don't know Mr. Candono. Thirsty yet?
Yeah, go ahead.
Patsy, I'll give you $5,000 to find out who killed Frank.
Hmm?
Oh, I'll admit it was a good idea killing him, but I want to see the family name cleared up.
Why don't you change names? That's easier.
Oh, don't be crude. Will you do it?
I may hang, and you can save your $5,000.
Here's your drink. The money might help. Should we call it a bargain?
Suit yourself.
You don't want to stand there balancing that drink.
No.
That's it. Sit down. You know, you're an interesting guy, Patsy. I like you.
Yeah?
Yes, don't snowball the statement.
Why'd you make it then?
It seems safe enough.
You sure?
You're a little close, Patsy.
Are you sure?
At this point, I don't care.
Come here, baby.
Patsy.
What's on your mind?
Where I can buy a desert island cheap.
Looks like you got an offer.
Father, he's forgotten his key. Excuse me. Come on over, Father. I want you to meet Mr. Novak.
Mr. Novak?
Yeah, they think I killed your son. Hi.
He's the one I told you about.
Oh, yes. Yes, now I remember.
It's probably for me. Hello? Oh, yes. I think so. I'll be right there. I've got to run, darlings. Only be gone a while. Father, keep Mr. Novak sober, I'll pick up from there. Good night, Father. See you soon, Patsy.
A remarkable girl.
She's active, too. Does she always sail out for a nightcap?
A remarkable girl.
More so than Frank?
I'm afraid so.
You seem to like him better dead.
Well, at least he's more harmless that way. But perhaps that sounds unbecoming of a father.
Well, if he looks better that way, suit yourself.
Well, I've never made any attempt to camouflage my feelings. I'm fond of my daughter. And my son, I've loathed. In a casual way. He's a mishap of nature which for years I've been content to blame on his mother. This matter of the gambling debts, case in point.
You know about that?
Oh, yes. Plus Doreen's liberal contribution to the problem. By the way, Mr. Novak, who did kill him?
I thought maybe you did.
No. I'm not a doer. I just cheer from the grandstand. Excuse me. Hello? It's for you, Mr. Novak.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello, Patsy. I'm down at Candono.
I know that. What'd you find out?
Never played 2 and 8 on a roulette wheel.
All right, drop the clowning.
Well, I found out about your friend.
Yeah?
They came in about 10 o'clock, so that puts them right in line.
No, not anymore. The guy got knocked off at 7 o'clock.
Oh, impatient, wasn't he? In that case, you better start looking for a tie-up between the girl and Candono.
Not a chance.
No?
She doesn't even know Candono.
She makes friends very quickly then, because she just walked into his office.
Well, things were beginning to fall into place. If the girl and Candono were that chummy, they were using those pictures. To squeeze the old man, probably. There was only one thing about it that didn't make sense. Why did Candono's boys beat my brains out if he had the pictures all along? Well, I talked to the old man a while, and then I headed for Candono's joint. They were closed when I got there, so I went home to bed. Oh, I'd have given a good price if tomorrow never rolled around. But the sun was eating through the haze the next morning when I walked into Candono's place. A sad old biddy with a mop told me Candono was in his office, so I knocked on the door.
Yeah?
Hello, Candono. I'm the guy your boys pistol whipped.
Novak? Come on in. I wouldn't worry. Maybe you'll heal handsome.
Thanks.
I'm sorry about that, Novak.
I'll bet you are.
Well, that's the way you'll get it. It won't come engraved. If I say I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're full of tears. You going to shed one when they send me up on a bum murder rap?
No, I'll buy you a handkerchief, though.
If you got the time, you might tell me what Doreen Wilde was doing in here last night.
What do you care? Maybe we're in love.
And maybe you're putting the screws on old man Wilde.
Hello? Yeah. Did you tell anybody you were coming here?
No, just a birdie.
It's for you.
Yeah. Hello, Jocko. When? Well, from where I'm sitting, it doesn't make sense. Oh, of course not. Yeah, I'll let you know. Well, how you feeling, Candono?
Get to the point, Novak.
They found a dead guy out in the marina this morning. He was shot and banged up badly, but they identified him.
What's that to me?
Nothing, except they identified him as Joe Candono. Confused?
No. It was a guy named Eddie Darrow.
Friend of yours?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess he was.
What does that prove?
It proves lots, Novak. It proves unless you find her in a cemetery, never trust a woman.
Well, with a good assist from Deep Short, we could make it now. I knew that. Candono was mad about something, and the lid was going to blow. I called Hellman. His lid was gone 10 minutes ago. He had the murder gun, and it belonged to old man Wilde. A messenger walked in and put it on the sergeant's desk a few hours ago with no explanation. Oh, that was the clincher. From here on in, it was cakes and ale. I told Hellman what I knew. He picked me up at Geary and Taylor, and we headed for the Wilde apartment. The girl and the old man were in the living room when we walked in.
Everybody had breakfast?
Patsy, I didn't know you came out till after dark.
Well, we just wanted to call on your old man. Wilde, this is Inspector Hellman.
Is there anything I can do?
You're ambitious, Wilde. Hellman's here to arrest you for murder.
I'm amused, but not frightened.
They might have gone easy on you for killing your son, but not Eddie Darrow.
And who is Eddie Darrow?
The guy you thought was Candono when you killed him last night. Your daughter was helping him put on that squeeze.
She even sent in your gun this morning.
Please, Doreen, tell these men.
Well, the starting backfield. Hello, Candono.
Step aside, Novak.
You don't need that gun, Joe.
Not for long. All right. Push the girl out there. Push the girl out there.
For a gambler, these are bad odds, Joe.
Just keep talking loud, and when you stop, all of a sudden, you'll know I'm through with it.
You made the first switch, Joe.
I didn't trust you, so I sent Eddie Darrow up. He was a good guy, and I liked him.
I didn't kill him, Joe.
You made it easy, though. Say him fast, baby. Here it comes.
Look out, Doreen!
Watch the old man. Give me that gun.
Yeah. They keep shooting the wrong people around here.
I'm sorry, Hellman. I bungled, huh?
Yeah, you bungled, Joe. How's the old guy, Novak?
You should live so long, Hellman. He's dead.
You're gonna need me soon, huh, Hellman?
Yeah, right now. Come on, Joe. Tag by headquarters, Novak.
Sure.
Well, it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah.
I'm sorry he jumped in front of me. He didn't have to do it.
No, but you expected it.
I suppose. I'm made to expect things, Patsy.
Uh-huh. And you're not going to mind this.
I expected that, too. You can slap me, but don't leave me, Patsy. I don't want to be alone. You got a cigarette?
They're on the table.
I see. A match, Patsy?
You go build your own fire. I'm leaving.
Please, Patsy, I don't want to be alone.
You won't. I'll send you a whistle. Goodbye. Sweet double cross right from the start. Frank pitched the first curve. He stole the pictures from Candono's office the day of the payoff. He was going to wait for the dough from his sister and skip. In the meantime, the old man found out about it, killed the son, and left him in the hotel after Candono's boys had cleared out. Oh, it would have worked out all right, but Doreen found the pictures in the old man's room and guessed what happened. She gave him back to Candono and then made a deal with him to put a squeeze on the old man. And then she double-crossed Candono by tipping off the old man that Candono was on his way up. I guess he figured the girl for a fast play and sent a pal instead. The old man didn't know the difference. He really thought he killed Candono. And then the girl wrapped it up by sending his gun to headquarters. Well, things had gone right, she'd have been right in the middle of that gravy boat. Her brother and Candono would be dead. Her father would be up on a murder rap. Once it started to unravel, it moved real fast. The first tip-off I got was when she offered the dough for her brother's killer. She'd have all that dough, and on the books she'd look like a field of Vermont snow. She was feeling around between somebody's shoulder blades, and from then on, all the cards fell just right. Candono was probably right. If they're not in the cemetery, watch out. Well, Hellman had only one question. Why would a guy want to kill off a dame like that? After I saw the pictures, I wondered myself.
The Armed Forces Radio Service has just brought you Pat Novak for Hire, starring Jack Webb. Pat Novak is produced by William P. Russo. Jocko Madigan is played by Tudor Owen. Inspector Hellman is played by Raymond Burr. Music was composed and conducted by Basil Adlam. Be with us again next week when over most of these same stations we'll bring you Pat Novak for Hire.